All right, hey folks, how you guys doing? I'm still a little sick, so I'm probably gonna be off my game a little bit. I've got a lozenge going, so hopefully that won't make too much distraction with it clacking on my teeth. But we're gonna work on some Strixhaven backgrounds today for Dungeons and Dragons 2024 edition using the color mana system and the martial power system as a physical art instead of just spell casting, so that our martial characters have stuff to study at Strixhaven alongside the spellcasters. So give me a second. I want to check, make sure my signal's coming through clearly. I'm going to do some fast social media updates, and then we'll get to work here for a couple hours. So checking in on my signal here. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, checking in on my... Nice. Okay, that's nice and clear. I'm going to drop that volume down to near 0. Get it out of the way. Let me grab the link here for the social media. That's going to be real quick for me to post, and then we'll dive into the document. So let me distract you here while I press a bunch of social media buttons with my my intro / origin story, whatever. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I've been creating content for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition since 2018. I've actually been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been a Magic the Gathering enthusiast since 1994, and creating content on the DMsGuild started in 2018 when I created the color mana spell point variant rules for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, converting the Vancian spell slot system and 8 schools of magic into the 5 color magic paradigm, using the color mana system to expend spell points as mana to cast those spells. So that's been in on the DMsGuild for 7 years now, and now that we have a new set of rules that update how the mechanics work and how characters are built, I want to update all those rules as well. Plus, we're implementing the martial power system, which gives the monk, the barbarian, the fighter, the rogue the same sort of mana resource. Kind of like an Eldritch Knight or an Arcane Trickster would have spell slots. We give all the martial characters a monk-like short rest mana pool that they can spend on maneuvers, exploits, strikes, sustained powers, kind of like from the martial power system, or the Book of Nine Swords from 3rd edition, martial powers from 4th edition. We're just basically creating an alternate magic system that runs parallel as a half-caster to what the spellcasters can do. And if you're a hybrid, if you are a half-caster, paladin, rogue, artificer, and including also warlock, you can use these martial powers instead of spellcasting, or you can mix and match. Whenever you prepare a spell, instead you can prepare a power. Barbarians, all they have access to is preparing powers. A wizard, all they have access to is preparing spells. If you want to multi-class, you can gish through a half-caster to have access to both, or you can multi-class as like a barbarian sorcerer and have a mana pool from both, increasing your mana supply. Barbarian leaning into powers, while sorcerer would lean into spellcasting. So you can mix and match, gish it as you please. So that's my intro. That's done. Let me go ahead and fix my screens here real quick so you guys can look at what I'm looking at for us to play today. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. Thanks a lot for new subscribers that I picked up this week. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Here's a bunch of books I've already created on the DMsGuild. They all have free previews. Check them out. Here's the color mana system specifically on the DMsGuild. It's 7 books right now. We're going to add in martial powers, spell point sorcerers, spell point artificers, and when it publishes, spell point scions. All of that is already in the playtest document, which is right here. If you click on that, it'll be a read-only document for you, but this is going to be the document that we are working inside today. And if we click into I'm already prepared, if you tool down to page 235, you'll find the start of the Strixhaven college backgrounds. So that's where we're going to be doing our work today. And we've got our Strixhaven Curriculum of Chaos book open here in D&D Beyond for us to look at the bonus power spell list that each of the schools get, or colleges get. And I'm going to pluck the this stream out of my window and just situate it down here so it's out of the way. Just arranging windows. I do artwork for my books Monday through Friday in the morning. I paint all the illustrations and book covers and stuff like that for the books that I publish. And then I do design streams like this on Monday and Thursday nights, as well as Tuesday and Friday lunches. Right now we're working on martial powers and Strixhaven backgrounds. Once we finish these backgrounds, we're going to work on the PvP combat rules for Strixhaven Mage Tower sport. There's a sport in the Strixhaven card set of Magic the Gathering. It's called Mage Tower. It's basically Quidditch on foot. It's like you don't have a broomstick. You're just running around with a ball. And you're trying to throw it through a hoop. Kind of like Pyramid from Battlestar Galactica or Quidditch from Harry Potter. But we're making... it's too big of a battlefield. And it's, if you play Strixhaven Curriculum and Chaos, it's an ability check. They kind of wash over any kind of action mechanics and just resolve it as basically a skill challenge. If you succeed 3 ability checks before you fail 3 ability checks, you win the match. And then it's over. But we thought it would be fun to, since we're building the power system, and again, the link to the documents in the description down below. But the martial power system, again, it has half casting progression. This is for specifically for barbarians, fighters, monks, rogues. But again, the paladin, ranger, artificer, and warlock can choose martial powers instead of spell casting. It's like everyone's like, the warlock could be a really good Gish. Well, if you have a completely separate stack of martial powers to give the warlock instead of spellcasting, yeah, they can be really, really good Gishes. But then so can monks. Like, monks are amazing Gishes. So you get your short rest mana. The power die represents like an inspiration die, martial arts die, a superiority die from the battle master. It's a D6 at first, it's a D8 at 9th, and it's a D10 at 17th. It doesn't outshine what the bard can do. It doesn't outshine what the battle master can do. It doesn't outshine what the monk can do. But any class can do it, or any of these martial classes can do it. And it has the full system here, all like the conversion. Instead of spell casting, you're channeling powers. So here's all the rules that go into that. Including exchanging action economy to generate temporary mana during your turn. So if you don't want to make 3 attacks, you just want to, like if you hit on your first attack, you could sacrifice your 2 remaining attacks to smite for free, for instance, to deal extra dice of damage and trigger a condition that's greater than what would be triggered by, say, a weapon mastery. Like you can push somebody 20 feet if you give up 2 attacks. Do like an extra 2d8 worth of thunder damage and then launch them 20 feet on hit. Like if the first time you hit, great, go ahead and do that if you want. A lot of flexibility and options inside that mechanic. Now that's for the martial characters, not the spellcasters. The spellcasters have to use their material components and their words and jingling their fingers around to make these crazy effects happen that they have to hold concentration on to sustain. And it's very involved. It's very deep, like very deep concentration, very rote memory form casting, while the martial characters is everything is like instant effect. Like I make an ability check, I'm going to dump 3 mana on top of it and roll extra dice and keep the best die and add it to my result. Or I'm going to hit somebody, I'm going to dump mana in on it to increase the attack roll, or to increase the damage roll, or to ignore their cover, or to teleport as part of that attack. It's all instant aggression, fast movements, on the fly tactical decisions that change during combat. And we've been running a mega dungeon. We're currently level 7 now from level 3. Now we're at level 7. Basically going through dungeons, fighting monsters, tripping traps, finding secret doors, creating safe spaces for ourselves to rest, using this martial power system alongside full casters. And it's going really well. So we've gotten rid of most of the problems, and now we're just ironing it out to make it smooth and seamless to work alongside spellcasting. So far so good. So on point today with the Strixhaven College backgrounds, it's like the renown system from Ravnica, which we spent the last 4 episodes working on. We have it structured so you have 3 renown at first level, and you have 51 renown at 17th level. You've got 5 tiers of benefits for all of the guilds. And every time, for every 6 points that you gain, 3, 9, 15, 21, 27, 33, 39, 45, 51, you gain a bonus, like a spellcaster, you gain a bonus spell. First level at 3 renown, up to 9th level at 51 renown at 17th level. And since the martial power system operates on a half casting from 1 to 5, you get one thank you. You get one first power, you get a second first rank power, and then at 15 renown, at 5th level, you get a second rank power, and then at 7th, you get a second rank power, and you get a 3rd rank power, a second 3rd rank power, a 4th rank power, a second 4th rank power, and the powers only go up to 4th rank. So you get a 3rd, 4th rank power. And we have the 10 guilds, we built all those out, plus all the benefits that you get that are already listed in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica book. You can look them up and see what all these benefits are if you have that book. I'm not going to repost them here. But using the same scaffold for Strixhaven, we can build college credits. So instead of gaining renown with your guild, you're gaining credits in your college, which doesn't that just make sense for a university? The backgrounds in the Strixhaven book already give you a familiar as a bonus, and basically you can summon your mascot. Each college has a different type of mascot. Like for example, Witherbloom has pests, so you can summon a pest, and it's your familiar. And then there's and then you can like teleport to your familiar, swap places with it and stuff as the advanced mascot options, which you get at 2nd rank of collegiate recognition. You also get access to college facilities, which is a bastion, basically using the bastion system to be able to establish like a base inside the college. You've advanced far enough in your collegiate learning that they grant you basically a lab space or research or a library study area that they have reserved for students that are advancing. And by 5th level, your character qualifies to open up those doors and to be able to have access to college facilities. By the time you get to 27 credits, we have a graduate thesis. Then at 39, we gain faculty status, where you can be employed by the college, and now you're basically running jobs for the college. And then by 51, you can join the college council. Like if you were in the Silver Quill College, then you would be able to basically get quests from the Dragon Silver Quill itself, and then you can issue edicts for how the Silver Quill College should conduct its business. So those are the ideas there. I'm still fleshing out the mechanics behind all these bits, like the graduate thesis. I'm thinking gaining high level magic or spells. I haven't quite figured out what the thesis is supposed to be yet. Because you're basically level 9 at this point, not quite access to high magic at level 6+, which you would get access to at 33 credits. But the skew is 3, 15, 27, 39, 51, and 39 only takes us to 5th level spells. So I'm still sussing out what the graduate thesis should be. But college facilities start off with basic bastion facilities, and then we have more and more and more bastion facilities that are added on. So during this process, when we go through each college, we're going to be picking out a spell and power for the spellcasters and the power channelers. We're going to be picking those out for each of these from level 1 through 17. And we're also going to be looking at the bastion system that we've developed and looking at that here. That's also linked right here. The Bastion campaign playtest document is here for you to take a look at. It's a read, don't write, don't copy, don't paste, but you can read it right now, and this will also be eventually on the DMsGuild as well. But this breaks down the Bastion system into a 5-tier system that's involved with ability checks. If you're interested in how the system works, you can check out my playlist, the Bastion system, Bastion campaign playlist on my channel here. But basically, there's 5 tiers or ranks of your Bastion, and each facility has a different rank from 1 to 5. So as we advance ranks and our college and gain more and more benefits from utilizing our college, they were going to gift us more and more facilities to take over and make use of. So as we gain ranks and status in the college up to being part of the collegiate council, we'll be able to deck out our college facilities with all these different bastion options for us to have, like undergraduates doing research for us or gathering materials for us for credits, basically running quests for you as the dean of the college. You're issuing these extra credit quests to undergraduates to go out and find things for you, or to research things, or go on these adventures, so you could build low-level characters to run these quests for the college to bring those materials or answers back to the dean to help build the collegiate council further. So it's a fun way to. It's the same way with the Ravnica Guild, where if you run tasks and perform missions for your guild, you're rewarded with additional renown, which then converts into additional bastion points that you can invest into facilities in the bastion that your guild gives you. So it's a mirrored system, but the narrative is slightly different because the college operates differently, but similarly to how the guilds in Ravnica operate. So we're creating that symmetry here. So, and plus I just love the bashing campaign system that we've developed. It's absolutely fire. So I'm really once we finish the Eberron book that we've been painting in the mornings Monday through Friday, once that's done, the bashing campaign is going to become our next focus. So if you think Dominion or having like command of a town or a wizard's tower or a fortress on the Borderlands, if you think that style of game is cool, or if you've been interested in exploring that style, stick around, like and subscribe, because we're going to be getting here in the next few months, we're going to be getting into continuing to develop the bashing campaigns into a book for publishing on the DMsGuild. And if you tap in and want to join me on my Discord channel and utilize it in your campaign to playtest, to help grind through some of the mechanics of it, I'll happily include you in credits and kick you a copy. So I like to reward those that help me. So let's see. Right. Okay. So let's get to work. So stepping past bastions, the easiest way for us to start is just to go with the spells that we get from Lorehold. We'll just go through order, Lorehold and down. Hey, Steve, it's good to see you. So starting with Lorehold, first level spells. Looking at Lorehold, let's see who Lorehold is all about. You have spent your youth preparing to be a student of Lorehold College, reading every book on the college's recommended reading list for prospective students. Your academic passions are in the broad field of history. You might dream of using magic to contact great historic figures or your own ancestors, or of recreating the mighty magic of a distant age. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Lorehold. They learn stuff. Kind of like Indiana Jones of magic. That's kind of the vibe. So we get 1 first, 1 second, 1 third, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, and then we start adding spells at 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th from the list of spells in the player's handbook. So we're going to cherry pick which spell we think is best to represent Lorehold at 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th level. They get 2. Like Legend Lore is going to be the obvious pick there. 4th level, I think Arcane Eye is going to be the better pick. Speak with Dead at 3rd makes a lot of sense. Borrowed Knowledge no longer exists in 2024 Player's Handbook, so we'll have to go with Locate Object. And then like Identify, I think, is better than Comprehend Languages. So that's the Identify. That's what we're gonna go with. Identify and Locate Object and Speak with Dead. And once we finish this process for the spell casting, we'll go through and we'll do the same process for the martial powers. And when we finish the martial powers, we'll go through this process again for the facilities in the bashing campaign to see which facilities in particular would be appropriate for Lorehold. such as like a spy network, for instance, would be appropriate for lore hold because you're gathering knowledge, or an archive would be appropriate for lore hold because they hoard information. So some of these facilities are going to be obvious, and the facility basically when you hit this tier, you gain these facilities that are added to your college facilities. So that's the idea. Let's see, Arcane Eye. And Legend Lore. And then we have 6th level spells to pick. So let's go check out our mana list and see what spells we think might be appropriate for lore hold at level 6, 7, 8, and 9. Let's see. Guardian Ward, Harm, Hero's Feast, Mass Suggestion, Move Earth, Planar Ally, Programmed Illusion, Tasha's Bubbling Cauldron, True Scene. True Scene might not be bad. Yeah, let's go with True Scene. It might be difficult for us to flesh these things out for some of these. Let's see. Divine Word, no. Etherealness, Finger of Death, Force Cage, Magnificent Mansion, Plane Shift, Resurrection, Reverse Gravity, Sequester. Sequester might not be bad. Let's double check what is Sequester specifically. Let's remind ourselves of that. I think it's fetching an item. That's probably good enough for lore hold. Sequester. With a touch, you magically sequester an object or a willing creature. For the duration, the target has the invisible condition and can't be targeted by divination magic, detected by magic, or viewed remotely with magic. If the target is a creature, it enters a state of suspended animation, has the unconscious condition, doesn't age, and doesn't need food, water, or air. You can set a condition for the spell to end early. The condition can be anything you choose. Preservation. It's basically suspended animation, good for storage. Maybe that makes sense. I'm stretching. I know I'm stretching. Maybe resurrection to bring somebody back that you wanted to talk to. That's not a horrible idea. Let's go with that. Let's go with resurrection. Maybe I'm stretching, but... Let's see. What do we get for 8th level? Is there anything cool here? Maze, Mind Blank, Power, Sunburst, Telepathy, Tsunami. Everything is just so combat-y at these high levels. It's all just fuck people over stuff. Control of Demi-Plane, Befuddlement, Automate, Glibness. Like, Glibness would be great for, like, Silverquill. Demi-Plane is great for Quandrix. Mind Blank, maybe? Silverquill. It's delving. It's knowledge. It's discovering information. Let's see what might make sense in here. Holy Aura, Maze, Mind Blank, Powered Stun. We'll go with Telepathy. I guess that's probably our best pull. Probably makes the most sense. It's not great, but we don't have a lot of spells in the player's handbook to pick from, so I guess we'll take what we can get. Ooh, Foresight. Duh. No, wait, that might be Quandrix. Let's see if there's something else that smells like Quandrix up here. God, Time Stop could be Quandrix too. Power Kill, Power Heal, Mass Heal, Imprisonment, Gate, Foresight. No, let's go with Astral Projection. For lore hold, being able to go anywhere and see anything. Astral Projection seems to fit the bill. Ooh, on that note, Etherealness. What level does Etherealness click in? Maybe I just passed that up as an option because I wasn't keeping my eyes open. Level 7. Etherealness. I think that makes sense. Cool, that was easy. So we're going to go through the spells, and then we'll go through the powers, and then we'll go through the facilities. And then we'll be done with Strixhaven. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. So, moving on up to Prismari. You are an artist, and you have been preparing to own your craft according to the traditions of Prismari College, whatever your medium, sculpture, dance, paint, music, drama, architecture, or any other field. You have grand visions of bringing your art to life in a fusion of magic and creativity. Yeah, acrobatics, performance, we already have all this stuff. So, music instrument, artisan tools, artisan feat, pick one. Credits, you start with 3 college credits in the Prismari College. And let's pick our spells. What do we think for Prismari? Art, Chromatic Orb, I think Chromatic Orb is more representative of art overall than Thunderwave is. Chromatic Orb. Kinetic Jaunt doesn't exist anymore. So I guess Flaming Sphere. I'm specifically not picking spells that aren't published. We may decide to modify that later, but for now, I'm going to let it stand. Haste. This is a very physical art vibe to it, much more than visual stuff. Like you'd think like there'd be illusions and stuff in here as well. There just aren't. That's that might be a flavor mismatch. We might come back here and override some of this stuff. Freedom of movement, of course. This is all dance and acrobatics. Isn't really representing sculpture at all. Conjure Elemental is probably more on point than Cone of Cold. Yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of any of these. I don't think Prismari is being properly represented, y'all. All right, well, it is what it is. So let's get into level 6+ and see what fun stuff we can. Well, Otto's Irresistible Dance. If we're going to stick with the trend, Otto's is the way to be, right? Let's just check through here to see if for some miracle there's something that's more on point. Nope, Otto's Irresistible Dance for fucking real. Otto's Irresistible Dance. Shapoopy. I can hear myself. Let me see if I can make that a little bit quieter. Nip that down to super low. I don't know. Maybe you guys can't hear it, but I can. So maybe that's gonna be better. Okay, got autos out of the way. Looking at 7. What are we gonna do here, buddies? Mirage Arcana. It's illusion. It'd be nice if there was more illusion stuff built into Prismari to back it up, but it is what it is. Symbol, teleport, reverse gravity, resurrection, regenerate, project image, power word fortify, plane shift. Sphere on this delay blast call. It's a divine word. Plane shift. Not prismatic spray. It's got Prisma in the title. And it goes along with Chromatic Orb. Yeah, that's gonna jive. And then level 8. Sympathy could work. Saving Glibness for Silver Quill. Sunburst, Power Sun, Mind Blank, Maze. Let's remind ourselves, what is Maze? It's corn, buddy. No, not that maze. Eighth level spell requires concentration. You banish a creature that you see within range into a labyrinthine demi-plane. The target remains there for the duration until it escapes the maze. That's very Quandrix. The target may take the study action to try to escape. When it does, it makes a DC 20 intelligence investigation check if it escapes. And the spell ends. That really jives with the grappling rules, where you'd use strength, dexterity, athletics to break free. Completely jives with that. I like that consistency. I like that actions to undo something is now leaning towards ability checks instead of saving throws. There's an inconsistency with it because some spells require a saving throw for you to end the effect, like Hold Person, for instance. But Maze feels more Quandrix than it does Prismari. So hold on real quick. Hold Person. I want to double check. That's still a saving throw. Repeats the save. Yeah, see here it's not an ability check to break free here. It's a saving throw to break free. It's interesting. There's not a consistency there. And I don't know why yet. I don't know if they know. They might not. So got to keep an eye on that stuff. But alas, we don't have a Prismari spell yet. Maybe Power Word Stun. Control Weather, not really. Befuddlement. Let's see what Befuddlement does. I think it just screws your stats, but I want to verify. You blast the mind of a creature that you can see within range. The target takes an intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, it takes a lot of psychic damage and can't cast spells or take the magic action. In 30 days, it can repeat it. Whew. That is a nasty spell. But that doesn't work, so... Holy Aura, Maze, Mind Blank, Powered Stun, Sunburst... Let's go with Sunburst, because I don't have anything better to say. If you've got a better idea, I am all ears. Happy to hear it. And then down here, we're looking at Prismatic Wall, of course. It has Prisma in the title, of course we're going to take it. Time Stop could technically maybe work. Nah, fuck it. Good enough. All right, let's move on to Quandrix. In preparation to become a student of Quandrix College, you've spent years working through the college's math problems for prospective students. Your interests concentrate in the mathematical principles and patterns found in the natural world. You might lean more towards mathematics or physics, or you delve into more abstract studies of metaphysics, arcana, and logic. Spells include Guiding Bolt and Entangle. Let's go with Entangle. I'm skimpy on handing out Guiding Bolt. Enlarge, Vortex, well, Vortex Warp doesn't exist in the player's handbook, so it'll be Enlarge, Reduce. Aura Vitality or Haste. We'll go with Aura Vitality because Prismari already has Haste. Control Weather, Freedom of Movement. Control Water, Freedom of Movement. Let's go with Control Water because Prismari already has Freedom of Movement. And then Circle of Power. Let's go with Circle of Power. I think that opens up more options for us at higher levels. Speaking of which, 6th level. Let's go check out our list. Guards and Wards, I think makes a lot of sense, but that's a really passive spell. Maybe not. Circle of Death feels awfully aggressive. Contingency, I think, could work. Instant Summons doesn't feel wrong off the cuff. Globe of Invulnerability isn't a bad contender. Fiend, Sunbeam, Bubbling Cauldron, True Scene. We already got True Scene with Lore Hold, so we'll skip there. Word of Recall isn't horrible, but it requires Hallow, which is not a very Quandrix feeling option. So we're going to skip that. So let's work with what we've already got. Here's Feast, Heal, Harm, Guards and Wards, Globe, Instant Summon, Contingency. Contingency, I think, is probably the best. We'll go with that. 7. Force Cage, Sword, Power, Sequester, there's a Symbol. I think Symbol is probably on point for Quandrix more than anything else. Oh, I don't know, man. Silver Quill. Silver Quill's pretty hot with the Symbol. Is there something that feels more Silver Quill than Symbol? Divine Word. No. Force Cage. Plane Shift. Prismatic Spray. Already taken. Project Image. Regenerate. Resurrection. Reverse Gravity. Sequester. Simulacrum. Okay, well, we're going to say, I think it's safe to say that Symbol is the most Silver Quill thing we can have at 7th level. Control Water. Enlarge, Reduce. Aura Vitality. Then perhaps, let's see. I'm thinking Power Word Fortify might make the most sense out of all of these. Control Water, Circle of Power. Yeah, I think Power Word Fortify. It's not. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. Because we're replacing Symbol for Silver Quill. Power Word Fortify. It's not great, but we don't have a lot of options at this level, so I'm kind of mutting things in as I can. Quandrix. What we got? Level 8. Maze. Feels very Quandrix. I'm very happy with that. And then level 9. Let's see. Time Stop, I think, feels pretty good for Prismari. Now we'll drop down into the Silver Quill. Dissonant Whispers. Silvery Barbs doesn't exist in 5e24. Second is Calm Emotions, I think, is more on point. Beacon of Hope or Daylight? Beacon of Hope? Ooh, boy. Compulsion or Confusion? I think Compulsion makes more sense. Because it's white-black, it doesn't have any red in it. If it had red, I'd say Confusion, but nah. Dominate Person, Rary's Telepathic Bond, we're going to go with Dominate Person. Because Dominate is a white-black control sort of thing. Cool, that opens up the door for us to go to 6th level. Prismari, what you doing? Prismari. Word of Recall? No, that requires Hallow, and that will not be Prismari. Prismari. What are we looking at? I almost want to say Guards and Wards, but it's such an NPC spell. Arcane Gate, Chain Lightning, Conjure, Contingency, Create Undead, Disintegrate, Eye Bite, Find the Path, Flesh to Stone, Forbiddance, Prismari, Writing, Literature, Spoken Word, Harm, Heal, Hero's Feast, Mass Suggestion. Perfect. And I believe we already know this is going to be Symbol. Bling. 8. Oh, Glibness, that's right. And then 9. A power word of some sort, I think, is appropriate. Heal is white, kill is black. They're both good. Is there a neutral third option that we could pick, please? Gate, no. Imprisonment. Shit. Prismatic. No, not prismatic anything. Not Storm of Vengeance. No. Crap. Power word. Kill. Heal. Pick one. We'll do it that way. It's cheesy and cheating, but we're going to take it. All right, Witherbloom. This will be fun. Let's see how Witherbloom do. Cure wounds, inflict wounds. Let's see. Let's go with inflict wounds. Lesser restoration. Actually, you know what? We've got a healing vibe going on here at the low end, so let's keep with that. Let's get them into hurting things later. First, we heal things and we learn how to hurt things. Vampiric Touch is a good transfer because that's healing through hurting. And then at 4th level, we can probably transition into actually hurting people. Death Ward. Blight. Let's go with Death. You know what? I think Blight's better flavor. Anti-Life Shell. And now let's spend some English here for 6 on Witherbloom. What you got? Circle of Death. Okay. Greater Restoration. Circle of Death. That's gonna work. 7. Silver Quill, what you got? Finger of Death. Regenerate, Resurrection. Whew. Regenerate's not a bad idea. You got Circle of Death, giving a Finger of Death the next time around. I think Regeneration makes sense. Eight. Antipathy, Sympathy. I think that makes sense. Now that's an attraction thing. Let's see if there's something. Is there something that's more on point? I mean, that might just be our best call. Yeah, I think that's the best. I think that's the best call. Killing things and bringing it back. Killing things and bringing it back. Killing things, bringing it back. I don't see it. Oh, wait. How about clone? Is clone fair? How does clone work again? Let's look at clone, because that might actually be a sleeper. Clone. That might actually make sense. An inert duplicate of that creature forms inside the vessel used in the spell's casting and finishes growing after 120 days. You choose whether the finished clone is... clone. For fucking sure, clone. Good call. That actually feels pretty Witherbloomy thing to sort of do. And 9. Power word kill might be okay. Mass heal could be good. Let's go with mass heal, because we started with cure wounds and we'll end with mass heal. I like that. That'll do. It's not perfect, but it ain't horrible. Ain't horrible. All right, cool. So we got our spells locked down. Now let's go through and look at our bonus powers. So we're going to switch to the Martial Powers document. Let's go down here into the list of powers that we have. And so disciplines require mana. Meta powers at the back of the list don't require any mana, like cantrips. We could dip into meta powers if we wanted to, but typically we're going to use disciplines. So looking at sustained powers is something that you tap mana and it stays on all day while you keep that mana tapped until the mana becomes untapped. Adaptive resistance, blind sense, close quarter, empower ability. Ooh. Choose one ability score. You have advantage when rolling checks and saves with that ability, and you gain the empowered effort exploit for the chosen ability while sustaining this power. You can channel this power more than once, simultaneously choosing a different ability for each point of mana sustained this way. Instant skill, actually, I think is probably going to be the better one. Let's go with instant skill. And I think I already know the exploit that we want. There's going to be quick investigation, or quick assessment. Sorry, quick assessment. Let's take a look at that. Quick assessment, you can use a bonus action to take the search or study action. Second rank, lore, sorry, shit, we're in Quandrix right now. That's not where we need to be. We're supposed to be in lore hold. So, lore hold. There. That worked. And we can fix that. Second rank. What's some lore holdy kind of stuff that we can do? Swift Attunement is not bad. While holding a magic item that you qualify to use, which requires attunement, you are considered attuned until you let go of it. Even if you are already attuned to the maximum number of items you normally can. If the item is cursed, you remain attuned even if you let go, potentially ending attunement with another item. That's not bad. Swift Attunement. Let's keep that on tap. Distract, Flatten, Goad, Rally. Quick Attunement so far is looking good. Countering attack and power. Oh, Empower Ally. As a reaction to when an ally fails a saving throw, you get to reroll. That one's really good. Empowered Allies. So, Swift Attunement. And then Empower Ally. Thank you, Timely Timer. That keeps track of time for me. Make sure I don't get caught up in any particular small tangential little detail. How you guys, everybody's doing today? Really good to see folks. We are taking the martial power system that we've been developing here on stream, and we are converting the Strixhaven backgrounds. We're going from level 1 to 17 in the college credit system. That is a symmetry. It's a reflection of the renown system that's in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, where you have, in the Guildmaster's Guide, in the official WotC book, there's four ranks that you can gain, but we convert everything to 5 ranks to correspond with half casting or proficiency bonuses. So we have 5 ranks of benefits that we gain. And then every 3 credits is basically another level. So 3 is first level, 6 is second level. When you take like the Lorehold background, you start with 3 credits in the Lorehold College. So you automatically gain the benefits of the first rank of being part of Lorehold, though you could earn those credits through activities in a campaign. If you don't just start off with the background, you could eventually gain it. But when you gain at these breaking points, first level, third level, fifth level, which is 3 mana, 3 credits, 9 credits, 15 credits, right? So you get first level, second level, third level spell if you're a full caster, and we're plucking these off of the spell list that Lorehold has, but it caps at 5th level with Lorehold. So instead of giving you 10 spells by 9th level, we've extended it, so we give you 1 spell for every spell level up through 9th. At 17th level, when you'd have access to 9th level spells as a full caster, and using the half casting system of the martial powers, all the martial characters can pick up an appropriate power for that level, like first rank powers at first level, second rank powers at 5th and 7th level, third rank powers at 9th and 11th level, 13th level is 4th level, etc. So it goes on like that. And then if you're a half caster, paladin, ranger, artificer, they can pick either a bonus power or an appropriate level spelled. So like at 9 credits at 3rd level, for instance, a ranger that's in Lorehold would be able to pick either instant skill, identify, quick assessment, or locate object. You can mix and match all 4 of those to basically pick up whatever you want by... sorry, not locate object. It would be identify, instant skill, or quick assessment. You could pick 2 of those 3 for your ranger at 5th level. Just pick any of the 2 that you want. At 3rd level, sorry. And then at 5th level, we get access to second rank powers and second level spells. So we would have, like, say, Swift Attunement and Empower Ally. And then it just continues to scale up. So we're going through the list of powers. If anyone is interested in this content, the playtest document is here. And then once we finish going through the powers, selecting them for each of the colleges, we're going to be using the Bastion campaign to select facilities that you get when you gain a Bastion through your college. At second rank, you gain college facilities to start creating a bastion inside of the college that will only advance as you go up in ranks. So the ranks for the college corresponds with the ranks of the facilities in the Bastion campaign, which corresponds to proficiency bonuses that you gain, which corresponds to the half-casting progression system. So D&D really runs on half-casting. The full casters, they gain power every other level, but the rest of the game engine basically runs at 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. Those are our actual breaking points. Saying that there's 4 tiers in D&D is actually inaccurate. In reality, it's actually 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. There's 5 tiers of gameplay. And if you pace your campaign so that you have like one season of your show is level 1 to 5, and then the next season is 1 to 4, and then your next season is 5 to 9, or rather 5 to 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then your next season is 9 to 12, 13 to 16, and then 17 to 20. If your campaign was a TV show, every show would have 4 seasons, and the episodes, like if you have 20 episodes in a season, it would break up to 4 episodes per level. Or if you're doing these expensive Netflix shows that can't afford more than 8 episodes, then it would be 2 episodes basically per level, per tier. Or yeah, that'd be quick progress. Yeah, 2 episodes per level if you're doing it with the condensed seasons. So, but that's, you know, that's just like a way for you to frame your idea. You can have a big bad at level 4, you can have another big bad at level 8, you can have another big bad at 12, you can have another big bad at 16, and then you have the TV finale big bad final boss at 20th, and then you retire your characters, the show is over, and you start a new show. I run a campaign from level 20 in about 270 hours, which is about 3 episodes per level at a 3.5 hour game, so roughly 10 some odd hours per level. It's a fast clip, but after like 9 months, you start to itch. You know, it's like, when do I get to build the new character? When do we get the new plot line? So by the time you hit 270 hours after, like, say 12, 14 months, everyone at the table is pretty much ready to swap over to something else. Either that, or you're going to be in a place where it's like 5 episodes per level, and then your campaign's is gonna dip at 10th level. So the reason why people can't run to 20th level is because the amount of time that you take, the amount of time you're spending at each level is beyond the attention span of your table to be able to run 40 or 50 episodes from level 1 to 20. You just, it'd be, if you're having, like, say every 4 episodes as a level, that'd be 80 episodes, 80 weeks. That's almost 2 years in a campaign. That's really difficult for a team of 5 people to sustain, but just a little bit over a year, I find I can get a commitment from people to stick around for a year or so. I ran multiple campaigns from level 1 to 20. 3 in 5th edition, and I ran campaigns from level 10 to 27 in 3rd edition for a decade. So, but we had a roster of 6 players that would rotate in and out. We'd take turns being DM, but we were all a dedicated team. Every Saturday, we're going to get together and play D&D, and we did that literally for a decade. So it was really easy for us to be able to sustain long-form campaigns. It's a little faster now. So having a 2 or 3 session per level, it's a very fast clip, but it can kick you through level 1 to 20 and gives you a lot of experience operating at each tier of play. If you're going with this 5-tier structure that I encourage. I don't know where this 4-tier came from in D&D. It kind of got dreamed into existence. But I really feel that I personally believe 5 tiers is more accurate, and the game supports those different breaks and those different power level breaks. So take it for what it's worth. That's what I build all my stuff around. Those 5 breaking points: 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. So it's just natural that D&D doesn't naturally make the game work that way. It tells us that they're intentionally, kind of like the spell points in the DMG, they're intentionally making it difficult to use. And I don't know why they're not trying to streamline the system to work more efficiently. But they didn't. I think that has something to do with legacy and clunkiness. I'm not going to judge. I just love the game, and I want to see it run smoothly. So these are the ideas that I propose to make the game run more smoothly. So, disclaimers aside, check out this stuff if you're interested in checking it out. You are welcome to join my Discord server and chew the fat with me, or just drop in chat here if you want to say something. You're most certainly welcome to do so. Otherwise, I hope you're enjoying the study hall environment of me basically clacking on keys and yammering to myself about what I think is good and bad. Sally Forth. We are currently looking at silver. We're looking at Lorehold. That's right. We're still in Lorehold. You guys got me monologuing again. Lorehold, 3rd rank. Let's see what cool lore hold stuff we can find for 3rd rank. Let's see. Let's dip down into our exploits. 3rd rank exploits. There's not a lot of exploits at 3rd rank. I'll give you that. Allied Assault, no. Cursed Clouded Mind, maybe. No, this is 2nd rank. Let's go to... Oof, it's getting thin up here, folks. Let's see. Anchor. Anchor is a very Quandrix sort of thing. Fate Spinner feels... It's not horrible. I don't hate that. Curse Exposure, when you see a creature within range, it has resistance, it loses it. I can see that being Witherbloom. Defense Barrier, as a reaction to a source you can see targeting you with an attack, you create a momentary 2-dimensional opaque barrier made of force occupying a space and occupying your space and granting you full cover against the attack, causing it to automatically miss unless it ignores full cover. The barrier is immobile, doesn't prevent movement, and disappears at the beginning of your turn. I like. We're gonna pencil in Defense Barrier. Bursting Strike, Intimidating Strike, Provoking Strike. Yeah, none of the strikes feel very lore hold at all, honestly. So let's go to 3rd rank. Yeah, we're gonna put that in. We're gonna go with Defense Barrier. Actually, I'm gonna put Defense Barrier at 11. Defense Barrier. Lore hold has a little bit of like a construct creation side hustle going on, so I think that works. 3rd rank. Mind Sense isn't... Yeah, Mind Sense is pretty good, actually. Mind Sense. And then 4th rank. 13, 15, 17. We need 3 4th rank powers that are appropriate for lore hold. Good luck. I feel like I want to leave Master of Fate for Quandrix. If I don't have to duplicate, I won't. So, lore hold. Strikes don't feel like lore hold at all, so we're just going to skip past that. Hexproof, maybe. Lore hold is hexproof. That's a maybe. There's going to be some duplication because there's not a lot of powers at the 4th tier. Telekinetic Bubble, Stupefy. Unstoppable feels appropriate for lore hold. I'll give him that. And we'll give him indestructible as well. That'll work. Cool. Lore hold. Clear. On to Prismari. Dance Expression. First ring power. Rush attack. Rush attack's a good one. Overrun. I think rush attack makes more sense than overrun. Actually, overrun. Here's how overrun goes. You can channel this exploit as part of a move action. You can move through a number of 5-foot spaces occupied by creatures of your choice equal to the mana expended this way. You can choose to deal damage to any creature occupying space that you move through this way, dealing 1 power die of force damage for each mana channeled. A creature can dex save for half damage. If you end your movement in a space occupied by another creature, you instead end your turn in front of the creature and you don't deal any damage to them. And then the kicker effect is if you spend an additional point of mana on top of however much mana you decide to deal damage or move through squares, you don't provoke opportunity attacks. So I think overrun actually makes the most sense. We could probably call it trample, but I could swear I could swear trample exists inside here somewhere already. Trample. temple. Huh. I should probably use trample. We'll see about that. I like using MTG phrases. I'm sure I skipped trample for a reason. Trample is overflow damage. I think that's why I avoided it, because it was kind of a misnomer. It wasn't an accurate term. But maybe I'm just being snobbish. Let's see. Ooh, Abundant Step. That's a good one for 5th rank. But we need another 1st rank. So, ooh, Slippery. When you take the disengage action, you can make a strength and dexterity saving throw to end the grappled or restrained condition, rolling with advantage. That's very conditional. To end the grappled or restrained condition. You can end the prone condition or make a strength and dexterity check to end the grapple and restrained condition. It's very conditional, but boy, it's useful when you need it. Let's move on. There's other stuff, other wares. Let's go look at other things. Coordinated dash. You can empower one ally per mana expended this way that can see or hear you to use their reaction to move up to half their speed without provoking opportunity attacks. So move your friends. That's a real. Let's just go with that one. Coordinated. It's a real obvious give me. So let's just give it. Coordinated dash. Yeah. 2nd rank, we already picked up Abundant Step. Let's see. What else you got? God, there's so much good stuff. Empowered ally, roll of the hit, saving grace, redirect. As a reaction to when a creature within reach of your melee weapon that you can see hits you or another creature with an attack, you can redirect the attack from hitting the intended target to instead target another creature that you can see within reach of your melee attacks using the same attack roll. Redirect's a good one. Moving target. As a reaction to when a creature you can see moves into or within the reach of your melee weapon, you can make an ult to the attack roll. It's kind of like an off sentinel sort of ability. Moving target's a really good one. I like that. Is there a strike at 3rd rank that feels good? Thundering Strike could have been okay. At 2nd rank, or rather at 1st rank. Let's see. Bursting, Intimidating, Provoking, Staggering. Nah. 3rd rank. Oh, Celerity, of course. Celerity is basically haste without stun. Of course. Oh, no, wait. Celerity is here. I am looking for 2nd rank stuff. Got lost in my own sauce. Tremor Sense, Giant Growth, Deadly Presence, Castigation, Auto Attunement, Attack Maneuvers. No. Poisoning, Dazing, Restraining, Blinding, Axiom. No. Roll the hit, redirect, moving target. Yeah, moving. We already picked up moving target, right? No. Oh, okay. Abundant Step and moving target. There it is. And now we're back into 3rd rank. Let's go up to 3rd rank up here to exploits to see what we got. Ooh, Flicker Pounce. That's a great one. Flicker Pounce. You can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see and attack a creature within reach of your melee weapon that you can see. If the attack succeeds, you can choose to teleport back to your original position. If the attack fails, you don't teleport the 2nd time. Flicker Pounce. This is a maneuver. Maneuvers can be used as magic actions, bonus actions, and you can use both of them in the same round if you want to spend that much mana doing so. So there's a lot of fluidity and versatility in how you arrange your powers and how you use them inside of a round of combat. We have the action economy that you can sacrifice to generate mana for your character. So Like an 11th level fighter has 3 attacks as an attack action. We could sacrifice 2 of those attacks to gain 2 points of free mana. Like if I wanted to do like a first strike or something like that to be able to hype up my initiative, I would be able to sacrifice my attack action. Actually, first strike's not a good example. What would be a good example? Like, Flicker Pounce, for example. We just did Flicker Pounce. We could sacrifice 2 of our attacks in our attack action to then use a bonus action to Flicker Pounce to hit you, to teleport and hit you. And if we hit, we could teleport away. But when I flicker in and hit you, I could then use my spare attack to also hit you, hit, and then since I hit, I teleport back as part of the flicker. And then I have my reaction left over and I still have my movement. I could sacrifice my reaction to generate a point of mana. So during my turn, if I hit, like if that fighter, 11th level fighter who can channel up to 3 mana, if I hit with my first attack, I could sacrifice my reaction and 2 attacks to get 3 points of mana for free. To instead of having all that action economy, instead I have 1 good hit that's going to be like a really it'll be a decent paladin smite. It'll be like 3 extra dice of damage, plus like say Thundering Strike. I'll punt you 30 feet. That's a decent ability. And then bonus actions. If I sacrifice my bonus action, depending on what my max rank of power is, 1 at first level, 3 at 9th level, 5 at 17th level from a single class. If I sacrifice my bonus action, I get 1, 2, or 3 mana. So like a 17th level fighter that has, you still only have 3 attacks as a fighter, but you'd have 3 attacks from your bonus action, 2 attacks from sacrificing 2 of your hits. That's 5 mana, and your max channel limit at 17th is 5. So for my bonus action and 2 attacks, my 17th level fighter can have 1 hit and then dump 5 mana into it, and then all I have is a reaction, my movement left. So, or I could make a whole bunch of attacks and potentially deal just as much or more damage. So I'm either channeling in a huge hit, or I'm making multiple hits and then taking mana out of my mana pool to do it instead. It's all the same. It's just how do I want to do it? If I'm sacrificing actions, it's speeding up how much stuff I'm doing during my turn, and the stuff that I choose to do is going to have more impact because I'm dumping mana into it for sacrificing the actions that I'm not going to take. That's one of them. And then the smite, the strike powers that we have are like 2014 paladins. It's on hit. When I hit you, I then expend mana to deal extra damage and do the condition effect. And again, if I sacrifice actions during that hit, like if I hit you, I could then choose I'm going to sacrifice my bonus action and like say an attack to deal an extra 3 mana worth of damage to hit you. And basically all the classes can do that, except for the rogue. The barbarian can do it, the fighter can do it, the monk can do it. The paladin can do it, the ranger can do it, the artificer can do it, and if you're using it, the warlock can do that as well instead of using Eldritch Smite. But the rogue can't, because you don't want to stack 5 mana worth of extra dice on top of doing a sneak attack. You're going to be basically doing twice the amount of damage that any other character can do, and that's just too strong. So the rogue, instead of dealing sneak attack damage, you gain a number of temporary hit points up to your max rank of power. So a 9th level rogue, instead of dealing 5d6 damage, would get 3 points of free mana to then spend on a strike power. Any strike power that you want. Dump 3 dice, like at 9th level it'd be d8s. A rogue with sneak attack does what? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Yeah, 9th level you have 5d6 damage that you would normally deal just as a sneak attack. Pop. Or if you cash in those 5d6, instead you get 3 mana, which is going to be 3d8 damage, and whatever your kicker effect is, like stun somebody, or punt them 30 feet, or incapacitate them, whatever it is, poison them, life steal to get temporary hit points off of the attack. There's shitloads of strikes. There's 23 strikes in the game, and most of them are available at 9th level. So that's the one trick. The rogue, you can't let the rogue stack smites on top of sneak attack like that. It's too strong. It just is. Because the way that when you're just playing normal raw D&D, your paladin level versus your rogue isn't gaining any spells. They aren't gaining any spell points or mana or spell slots. So the paladin doesn't synergize with the rogue, but when you're using the power system, rogue does gain a mana pool, and they do gain spell levels or ranks of power at the same rate that the paladin does. So if you have sneak attack on top of paladin smite as a 9th level paladin and 9th level rogue together, that's called Gestalt in the 3rd edition, Gestalt, where you combine a paladin and a sneak attack and a rogue specifically to cheat the system like that. While like the cleric over there is also a druid, so you can like shape change and cast all these cleric spells, for instance. Anyway, yeah, you can't when you add in a power system like this to the rogue, you can't really afford to let them do both the smites and the sneak attack. Hopefully, I've talked about that enough to beat it to death for you guys. But we've done a ton of work on this over the past 16 months to find all these little broken bits. Like if we combine these things this way, it breaks and you can't do it that way. Like the paladin should be the best in the game at smiting, not paladin 2 sorcerer 17. It should be paladin 17 that's the best at smiting. So we rebuilt smiting using the power system so that 17th level sorcerer, 2nd level paladin can't do shit with smite. You've got a fuck ton of mana, but you can only do 2 dice worth of damage on your smite if you burn your bonus action to do it. Like it's like a 17th level sorcerer is not going to spend their time doing 2 extra dice of damage. They're just going to throw a cantrip at something. It's like that's a waste of their time, and their class breakdown reflects that. 2 levels of paladin and 17 levels or 18 levels worth of sorcerer. Well, it'd probably be 3 paladin, 17 sorcerer. Let's be real, but the point still stands. Now, if I only have 3 levels of paladin, I shouldn't be the best smiter in the game with my sorcerer at 17th level. It's just that's broken. So we had to rebuild it. And if you check out the playlist where it says Martial Powers Paladin, we spent a lot of time. Or you can just wait until the book publishes, or you can just read the book because it's available for you guys to look at down below. So check the description if you want to read it. It's read only, but once it's published on the DMs Guild, you'll be able to look at it, just like all the other books I have down below. So anyway, you guys got me monologuing again. So let's get back into it. 3rd rank, yeah, we were looking for a 3rd rank power that would make sense for Prismari, weren't we? 3rd rank power, Prismari, here we go. Allied assault, you and allies gain advantage to attack a foe. Nah. Let's see. Flicker Pounce. Oh, yeah. We just picked up Flicker Pounce. That's a great Prismari. It's also a really good Quandrix as well. So we might end up swapping those. Let's see if there's something else. Well, yeah, let's see if there's something else that's tasty at 3rd rank that feels more Prismari than Quandrix. Anchor for Quandrix, 100%. I also like Fate Spinner for Quandrix, manipulating dice that feels like they're cheating the code. That's kind of what Quandrix is about. I like that. So that's going to stand. Flicker Pounce is starting to feel really, really good. Target. Okay, great. So now we're on 4th rank powers for Prismari. Let's go hunting. We'll start at the back and we'll work our way forward. How about that? Oof, Ghost Walk. Oh, Windstrider. That's a great Prismari ability. Windstrider. Oh, no, that's 3rd rank. Never mind. Frenzied Attack. Holy shit. Absolutely. Frenzied Attack. That's a good point. We could leave Flicker Pounce in. Let's go Windstrider for Prismari, and then we'll save Flicker Pounce for Quandrix because it's coming up next. So we got Frenzied Attack, which is basically when you take the attack action, you get an extra attack, and all of your attacks have advantage. But it's 4th rank. You only have 5. You can only sustain up to 5 mana at a time. At 13th level, you can only maintain 4. So Frenzied Attack eats up all of your sustained power. At 17th level, you have 5, so you can pick up like Frenzied Attack at 4, and then I don't know, Rogue Stance for 1. Rogue Stance. While this power is sustained, you can use a bonus action to dash, disengage, or dodge. Actually, holy shit. That's a sustained... Yeah, that's actually really, really good. Let's use that instead. Rogue Stance. Alright, we picked up Frenzied Attack for 4th. That feels really, really good. What else you got? What you got? Strikes are no good. As a reaction to when you would drop to 0 hit points but don't die outright, you remain conscious and roll a number of power dice equal to the mana channeled, gaining a number of hit points equal to... That doesn't feel very Prismari. Let's skip past that. Hexproof. We could always take Hexproof if we need it. TK Bubble, no. Unstoppable feels very Prismari. Now we got one left. Frenzied Attack. Perfect. Unstoppable. Makes total sense. Now we're stretching. So now we're going to be stretching. TK Bubble is no. Wave of Terror, no. Rider Revival could work. If we had to make it work, it could work. Banishing Strike, I guess, could work if we really needed it to. We'll do it. It's not perfect. I admit that. Anyone that's chewing through the document, if you find something that's more efficient, I will gladly accept. So now we're working on Quandrix, and then we'll have Silver Quill, and then Witherbloom, and then eventually, probably next week, we'll get to working on Theros Piety. Using the same idea as Renown and credits to grant that scaffold of 3 to 51 from level 1 to 17. Building Piety with the gods based on what colors they're assigned to. Building basically little pantheons based on the color mana pool that your character wants to use for their spell points and spell casting. And as you gain more and more devotion to your pantheon of gods, more of your spells naturally become the colors that those gods represent. So like if you're in the white pantheon of Heliod, Athreos, Ephara, Aros, and Karatetra, you'll eventually have, like, you can bend all of your spells into white. So you're monocolored at that point. And then you could, you have these lesser gods of like, blue, black, red, green. Have these guys flow in after that. H-I-J-K. These are alphabetical. We should probably sort them by W. We should rearrange these so they're by color. But the point stands. You can lean into have the more piety you have in that pantheon, the higher level of spells you can convert to being a single color. So your mana pool becomes more efficient, and you don't have to, like in the Theros campaign, they don't have any specific, like in Ravnica and Strixhaven, they have dual colors. In Alara, you have like wedges, shards, and then in Tarkir, for example, you've got the shards, wedges. So you have these color pairings, identities that are just kind of intrinsic to that world of MTG, which the system accounts for. But Theros is open color, like Dominaria is. It's characters could be any and all colors, and there is no real allegiance there. There's no devotion. But Theros specifically introduces the mechanic of devotion through the cards by reading how much mana, like how much white mana do I have showing on the cost of the card. Like if I have 15 creatures and all of them require 1 mana to cast, my devotion is 15. If I've got 7 white lands and 1 creature that takes 3 white mana to summon, my devotion to white mana is 10, and that has an effect on the game. That devotion mechanic is converted into piety using this. So the higher rank I get in piety to these specific gods, like I could have like 30 points of piety in white, and then have like say, and then I've got like this thing going on with Aurus. So maybe that means I'm bending into the red pantheon as well. So I might have 30 points of white, but I also might have like say 16 points of red. So as I gain ranks of piety, or as I gain higher piety in these different pantheons, I can, like at 16, that's 3rd rank, so that'd be up to 5th level spells. I could choose a 5th level spell from my spell list, and if it wasn't already red, now it can be red. But like at 30 piety, that's a 7th level spell. So I could take any 7th level spell that isn't already white, and because of my devotion to the white pantheon, I can make that spell white. So I can manipulate my color pool by increasing my piety to the the color pantheons that we have listed here. So that's kind of how that's how the Theros system works. You can change your color identity, or what colors you how you identify your character as. Like say you're Mardu, you've got like a white, like you have a white, black, green vibe going. I have a divine sorcerer that's Orzhov, but has a Fey background, so there's a point of green in that mana pool from the Magic Initiate that I picked up off of the Druid spell list, and that Druid gave me a green point of mana. So now I've got all my mana as white-black, except for that one little nagging point of green, which represents my Fey lineage. So Orzhov doesn't trust me at all, because I've got that, I'm tainted with that Selesnya blood. They can't ever really trust me to be devoted to the Orzhov Church completely. But like in a Theros game, that character, that divine sorcerer with that sort of bend would be catering naturally towards the white and the black pantheon, but my lineage would have me dipping into green, like probably picking up something like maybe like with Pharika, for instance. I've got a thing going with Pharika, so like I think Pharika is Pharika also white green, and so I would have like more ties to white and green, and my black might not be represented at all. So like you can play with, like, I would be very low black energy Mardu with a lot of white and green with just a splash of black, because no one ever looked out for me. I have to look out for myself because I'm an outcast in my own church. So I have to stand on my own. That's where like the shred of black comes from, that personal, that reliance on myself. So that's the idea that goes into the piety there, and we'll be fleshing that out. I mean, that's the gist of it, but we'll be building out the mechanics of that as we go. So, but that's coming up. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Actually, what I'm really excited about is when we finish this Strixhaven college credit system, is building out the mechanics for Mage Tower as a PvP combat scenario where you're building characters trying to score points. You know, like it. If you aren't familiar with Mage Tower, it's basically like a cross between soccer and Quidditch, or like it's like rugby and Quidditch. Basically, you've got a little hoop that you want to throw a ball through. You aren't on broomsticks, but the arena that they present in MTG, it's too big to be fun for D&D 5e combat because of our movement restriction. It's like a 500-foot field, and you can only move like 30 feet around. So it's going to take you like 8 rounds to get from one side to the other. That's just too long. So we want to make the arena smaller, and so we need to have less people. So it'd be like a 3v3, kind of like Street Tower. Instead of like a full arena, it'd be like a half court, like a basketball half court that you're playing on. That's kind of how it's going to operate. But there'll be 2 goals, but the ball is treated as an object that you can throw, disarm, summon, whatever. And it's treated as an ally, so that you can defend, take it away, protect it. And it's also treated as an enemy that you can attack, deflect, push, and like make opportunity attacks against, like to pick up the ball on the way by. Like if a ball flies past your reach towards the goal, the goalie could use an opportunity attack to catch the ball as a grapple action to prevent it from going through the hoop. So there's a lot of really cool ways that the 5e game engine can be used to build sports. I haven't seen anyone do that. So I'm really looking forward at using Mage Tower from Strixhaven and this martial power system that's all about movement, bonus action, and reactions to manipulate things that your allies and enemies can do, as well as really leaning into like weapons and attacks, and like disarming and grappling, really using all these different tools in 5e for your martial characters. So when you build, if you have like 6 people at your table, you can do a 3v3 matches with the DM as being an actual referee, and the teams 3v3 are taking turns taking shots at the goal. Everyone takes a turn with each other. So there's a lot of really cool potential there. Or if you only have 3 people, the DM can run a team of 3 NPCs as a Mage Tower team against your 3 players. And you only have 2 players, it could be 2v2. It could be 1v1, but I think that might be boring. But I think 2v2, 3v3 at most. And then just depending on how many players you have, depending on how you break up your team, that's what we're going to be working on in the probably before the end of this week. So if that stuff is interesting to you, like, subscribe, stick around to see what's coming. But I digress. We are working with Quandrix right now. So let's build out the bonus powers that Quandrix gets. Quandrix. Again, looking at the description of Quandrix. In preparation to becoming a student at Quandrix College, you have spent years working through the college's math problems for prospective students. Your interest concentrates in the mathematical principles and patterns found in the natural world. You might lean more towards mathematical or physics, or you delve into more abstract studies of metaphysics, arcana, and logic. So let's see what martial powers we've developed that can lean into that narrative flavor. Let's start with the exploits, because that's beginning. Let's see. Powered effort, quick assessment, quick impression, quick utility, rush attack, slippery, subtle channeling. Honestly, none of those exploits really jump out at me as something for Quandrix, so let's just skip them. Distract, flatten, goad, rally, shunt. Physics, metaphysics, mathematics, forcing movement, like the teleportation effect that they get. I like that idea. So I think maybe we take shunt. Target one creature up to one size larger than you that you can see per mana expended. The target must make a strength saving throw or be pushed up to 10 feet per mana channel in any direction. You can roll a number of power dice equal to the mana expended, adding the highest roll to the saving throw DC. I like that. It's force reposition, and I think we're going to see a theme of that in Quandrix in general. So there's 2 of first rank that we want to pull, and then 2 of all of them. Let's see. Controlled fall. As a reaction to falling, you can land on your feet instead of prone. That's more Prismari, but we skipped it. How about anticipate? As a reaction to when a creature within range of your weapon attack that you can see makes an attack, before they roll to hit, you make an attack against it. I like that. If you were to use anticipate along with, like, say, a thundering strike that pushes somebody, like you hit them and you push them 20 feet. If you hit them before they make their attack roll with this reaction attack, and you channel a strike through to punt them, this specifically says that you make your anticipated attack before they make their attack roll. You could disqualify their melee attack roll by using anticipate. It'll cost you mana to be able to do it, but it can nullify somebody attacking you. They would then have to use more movement during their turn to make up the ground that they lost to close distance to make that attack again. It's a really neat tanking ability. There's a lot of really cool tank abilities in here that don't do the traditional D&D tanky side. There's not a lot of tanking abilities in D&D, but the system adds in a lot of different ways using different pieces of action economy to create that disable, disrupt, that force out of range effect that if you're protecting your back line, because with the mana system, concentration is incredibly fragile. So you want to make sure that your casters are being protected from having to make bullshit saving throws or taking unnecessary damage, because if they're stacking up really high level spell effects on top of each other, their saving throw, their concentration DC gets ridiculously high. It's like if your wizard has to make a strength saving throw DC 20 because he's maintaining concentration on 2 Big fists at the same time, is any saving throw that can't hit a DC 20 is automatically going to blow both those fists, even if he makes the saving throw. And that's a really fun way to compensate for how much mana these characters get, by allowing them to stack concentration on things, but to make that incredibly dangerous and fragile. So you want to have tanky frontline martial characters that are capable of doing things like this. Like if this guy's trying to break the back line, I want to be able to punt him away from getting to our casters. If we have enemies that have range attacks that can target our casters, we want to close distance with them so we can do things like bait and switch, deflect, interpose, reposition, retaliate. These are all things that we can use to counteract against strikes coming in on our casters. So it becomes a much more tactical team where the marshals are actually protecting the casters from taking damage. And at low levels when they're squishy and fragile, and at high levels when they're coursing with massive magic power, but that holding that power is really fragile. They stay fragile either in hit points or at higher levels, not so much in hit points, but in their concentration becomes really fragile, because those really high level spells are really fucking hard to maintain concentration on without being disrupted. Which is why we're generous about being able to have so much mana that you can use. It all works together. But then if you use, just as a side note for those that aren't convinced that spell points are a good idea, if you use gritty realism, it totally works. It works incredibly well. Gritty realism is an awesome system to use because your full casters get so much mana that they can afford to parse it out over a couple days. The way that I do gritty realism is whatever your proficiency bonus is, that's how many short rests you take at night before you can take a long rest. So at first level, it's short rest one night, short rest another night, and then long rest. So every 3 days you get a long rest. But you don't get a shitload of mana. At 5th level, when you get your proficiency bonus bump, and then it's every 4 days, it's 3 short rests, and then a long rest. And then by the time you get to 17th level, you've got 6 days worth of short rests, and then you get a long rest at the end of the week. And so you're working on a weekly cycle. And if you're using the Bastion campaign system, a Bastion turn is also a week. So overall, the world is going to have you playing at a 1 week at a time tempo of having new adventures. Each adventure is 1 long rest worth of resources that your character has access to. And all the martial characters are gaining mana on short rests. So whenever they finish a short rest, they get all their mana back. And you can introduce things like mana pots and stuff like that to help compensate for casters needing more mana if you need to. So there's a lot of ways to play with it, and it's been a lot of fun figuring all that stuff out. So if you think that shit's cool, stick around, like and subscribe. We're going to be building all these books, and then we're going to be doing all the artwork for them in the mornings once we get to that point. So strap in for the next year. It's going to look really good. Okay, so back on task. Sorry. 2nd rank, Prismari. Let's go down to Sustained Powers and look at 2nd rank Sustained Powers to see what might be down here. We have Enlarge as a 2nd level spell, so Giant Growth makes sense for Prismari power. Giant Growth, just like the card in Magic the Gathering. Thank you. Shunt. What else we got? 2nd rank. What goodness lies before us? Extended Reach, considering how much like dimensional manipulation there is with Quandrix. Extended Reach, you can increase your melee weapon reach by 5 feet per point of mana sustained this way. So again, this is a 1st rank power. Yeah, it's a 1st rank power. That doesn't qualify. If we were to pick up Extended Reach, At first level, we can sustain one mana worth of sustained powers. At 17th level, we can sustain up to 5 of them. So if I were to put 5 points into extended reach at 17th level, I would have a reach of 25 feet. I have a reach of 30 feet. So if I were using that with, like, say, moving target, if we go up here and look at moving target, which is a reaction power. Moving target, as a reaction to when a creature you can see moves into or within the reach of your melee weapon, you can make a weapon attack. Even if the target is using the disengage action, rolling 1 power die per mana channeled, adding the highest result to your attack roll. So if I were to expand my reach out to 30 feet with my melee attacks, I'm obviously warping dimensional magic in a very Echo Knight sort of way. This is Quandrix. So I actually might want to just add this because it's such a Quandrix-y sort of ability. It's so cool. But yeah, moving target, anything that's within that 30-foot reach, I can make a reaction to attack them. And then we have, and we can apply a strike power to the attack. So like we could do a tripping strike. So tripping attack, you increase your weapon damage by 1 mana per 1 die of damage per mana channeled. And you knock a target that's large or small or prone. So if they're within 30 feet and they're moving, we have extended reach as our sustained power. We have moving target as our reaction. And then we use tripping strike when we hit with that reaction to knock them prone. Now they have to spend the rest of their moving, or half of their movement getting up, which probably means they're not going to move out of your reach. It's like you have this massive control space where you can keep people from getting to your back line by having this massive reach. That's a really great ability for the Astral Soul. Way of the Astral Body. I can't remember the name of that monk, but that's a really cool feature. So let's actually, instead of Shunt, let's go with Extended Reach. I think that makes a ton of sense. I love that. But see how you can make your own character combos? This is a very 3rd edition. I love 3rd edition for your ability, like especially when the Book of Nine Swords came out in 3.5. Your ability to like Wizards really built D&D into like a deck building game, where all the classes and prestige classes that you can multi-class in and out of allowed you to build these cool feature combos that synergize together to make these really cool abilities that these characters could, like, super fucking heroes. They were super cool. But they got rid of that in 4th edition because it was too complex, and they kept it out in 5th edition because they didn't want to work that hard. They learned that's too much work. So they wanted to simplify the process so they didn't have to cross-check so much stuff. But by introducing a martial power system like this, we allow you to change how you use your action economy to be able to set up these combos. Like, one of the things that we do is forced movement triggers opportunity attacks. So if I hit you with a Thundering Strike and punt you 30 feet, and on the way out you leave my area of effect, I could hit you with an opportunity attack because I made you leave my area of effect. Creatures can do that, you can do that, and what that does is it helps just collapse your time so you don't spend so much time at the table wasting people's time trying to figure out what's going on. It's like, I've got this cool combo I can do. Bam, 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 I'm done. That's my turn. I'm done. I did what I want to do. It's fucking awesome. Who's next? What are you going to do? And then you can actually coordinate your actions between each other if you want to take more time. I'm going to punt this guy for 30 feet worth of movement. You guys get into position so each of you can take a swipe at them as they're flying through your area of effect. Creatures can do that too. Suddenly a band of kobolds become dangerous if they have a way to be able to knock you prone, and they all have downtrodden, so that when you get knocked prone, they all get opportunity attacks on you, for instance. There's a lot of really cool combos that the DM and the players can both build to make what might be just a normal challenge tack on some of these abilities to creatures. And we have in the DM section at the bottom of the book, it talks about kits, like taking all the 4E character monster archetypes, like the Striker, the Lurker, the Controller. We built out sets of powers. Like if you're having like a Lurker assassin type character, depending on what their CR is, give them this set of powers that they can use it every round, and that becomes like a really fucking dangerous assassin. So it's just a really fun way to combo that stuff. And so eventually we can build out all the monsters in the monster manual. Here's a list of powers that we recommend to go with, like the Tyrannosaurus, or give your beholder this list of powers and completely change how it fights your team. There's a lot of ways you can manipulate this stuff, and we've been providing guidance for that. So ideas. I'm geeking out on this pretty hard right now. Sorry about that. I so love building these mechanics. They're so fucking fun. Back on task. Second, Axiom Strike. The title alone makes me want to say yes. Restraining Strike also feels good. Restraining Strike, it's second rank. Your damage increases by 1 power die per mana, so automatically 2 extra dice. Expended and the creature is restrained. It's automatically restrained. The creature can end the effect by succeeding a strength or dexterity check against your channeling DC. Size large or larger creatures roll with advantage. So I like the idea of Restraining Strike being a part of this. That just feels Quandrixy to me, like locking them in a matrix of logic. Or whatever. All right, third rank. While we're here, let's double check real quick to see if we didn't miss any low-hanging fruit that just feels like Quandrix. Because we saw Silverquill and Witherbloom. Witherbloom's going to be easy, but Silverquill might be challenging. Redirect. Ooh, Redirect's not bad. As a reaction to when a creature within reach of your melee weapon that you can see hits you or another creature with an attack, you can redirect the attack from hitting the intended target to instead targeting a different creature. That's like open up a portal, and the attack goes through the portal and hits their ally instead. That's actually a lot of fun too. God, there's a lot of really fun ways to be able to think about. I'm going to go with that. I can't help myself. Hold on. Let's see if we didn't pick that up already somewhere else. I don't think we did. No, we haven't. All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with redirect instead of Restraining Strike. There. Okay, now we're on to third rank powers. I feel good about where we're at. We took Flicker Pounce. No, that's right. We replaced Celerity and Windstrider. That's right, Flicker Pounce. Anchor and Flicker Pounce. We already know this. Anchor. As a reaction to a creature that you can see moving, teleporting, or shifting planes, whether voluntarily or forced. Before doing so, it takes 1 power die of damage per mana expended this way and must succeed a Charisma saving throw. If it fails, it can't move, teleport, or shift planes until the beginning of their next turn. A falling, flying, or swimming creature targeted with this power remain fixed in their space it occupies until the duration ends. You can choose to forego dealing damage. So if your friend is about to get banished, or punted off of a cliff, or fall off of a dragon that's flying, you can hit them with Anchor and they literally just get frozen in space. Until the what is it? And you can choose to fail if you want. That's a 5e24 rule for sure. Until the beginning of their next turn. So if they get punted off a dragon, they have until their next turn for somebody to come help them out, or for them to be able to use a reaction, like Controlled Fall, for instance, is a reaction that they can take if you picked it up. Controlled Fall as 1 point is as a reaction to falling, you can land on your feet instead of prone and reduce the damage taken by 10 times your max rank of power. So a 9th level character can fall 30 feet without taking any damage and land on their feet, for instance. So Anchor's a really cool ability. It's also a really good way to shut down Flicker Pouncers, Phase Spiders, those pesky NPCs that all have Misty Step to get away from your Force Cage. You can shut them all down. Love that ability. Where were we at? We're here. That's right. Anchor. God, what a cool ability. Love that. And then Flicker Pounce. It's just fucking choice. That's a reaction. Let's go to Flicker Pounce, which is, we talked about before, you can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see and attack a creature within reach of your melee weapon that you can see. If the attack succeeds, you can choose to teleport back to your original position. If the attack fails, you don't teleport the second time. High risk, high reward, Flicker Pounce. Super cool Quandrix ability. And now we're in 4th rank. Let's see what cool 4th rank stuff exists. I know there's reaction stuff that I want. Let's go take a look. No. Was it? I know this stuff exists. Give it to me. Master of Fate. When you channel this power, roll 3 20-sided dice. When you later roll a d20, while this power is sustained, you can choose to replace that result with any one of the Fate dice. Each Fate die can be used once. In addition, while sustaining this power, you can expend 1 point of mana from your pool as a bonus action during your turn to roll an additional Fate die, replacing any result or regaining an expended Fate die. Unused Fate dice are lost when the power is dismissed. You can basically use your mana pool to power results that you want. And you can spend mana to re-roll until you get results that you want and keep them locked in for when you want to use them later. It costs 4 mana. It's going to tie up almost all your sustained powers, but it really does just let you manipulate dice at will. It's a fun way to play. Master of Fate. Core. Such a core Quandrix concept. Love it. Now we gotta go fishing. Indestructible. Doesn't feel very Quandrixy. Let's see if there's something else we can find. I skimmed past a whole bunch of stuff because I was really beelining to that. Banishing Strike makes sense. I think we used it elsewhere already, but it's a good one. It's very Quandrix. It's not nearly as much Prismari. If anyone's got a better suggestion, I'll take it. Now all we gotta do is find another 4th rank power for Quandrix, and we're good to go. Hexproof is actually a really good one. Hexproof reads as a reaction to when a creature that you can see uses the magic action or casts a spell that targets you only, you are unaffected by it, wasting the action. Any mana spent on the wasted action is regained. And that cleans up Quandrix. Let me correct my formatting here real quick, and then we'll move into Silverquill. Silverquill, I think, is probably going to be the most challenging. Take a sip here. I need to refill my glass. I'm gonna be right back. So stick around, guys. I'll be like in. Well, I'm off screen, but hopefully you can still hear me shouting. I'm actually getting over a cold, believe it or not. So I'm pounding a lot of lozenges and Dayquil and drinking a lot of vitamin C to try to knock this thing out. The amount of chicken soup I've eaten in the past 2 days is, quite frankly, it's staggering. But I'm at the tail end of being sick at this point. So, and I just screwed up my chair. Hold on. There we go. Let's see, Ernie. There we go. Let's see. Silverquill. There we go. Let's refamiliarize ourselves with Silverquill real quick before we proceed. You have spent years practicing your writing and oration in the hopes of becoming a student of Silverquill College. Your studies focus on language, literature, and the power of words, both magical and otherwise. The metaphorical power of words to illuminate or conceal is joined with the literal ability of magic to do the same in your academic pursuits. That tells me illusion. So I think we have some opportunities here. I don't see any real illusion being represented here, but it still feels illusory to me. So we might lean in that direction. Silverquill might end up being easier than I thought. Let's find out together. I feel like I should start down in the sustained powers. Thanks a lot for folks hanging out, sticking around, checking this stuff out. I stream 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning. I do artwork for the books that I publish. I'm doing an Eberron adventure right now, and then Mondays and Thursday nights like this, and Tuesday and Friday lunches, I do game design like this. So I think what we're going to be is we're going to finish these lists here. I've got about 40 minutes left tonight before I'm out for the night. So we'll definitely get done with all the power lists here for the 5 colleges, and then we're going to start looking at the Bastion facilities that's appropriate for each college, for your college facilities that you gain as you increase your credit score, increase the total number of credits that you have in your college at Strixhaven. So we'll look at that next, but we probably won't finish that tonight, so it'll probably spill into lunch tomorrow, and then maybe we'll get done with that tomorrow, but whatever we don't get done, I think no matter what, on Thursday we'll probably finish up working on Silver Quill, and I think then we'll work probably on Theros Piety like we were talking about earlier. And once we finish the Theros Piety, that could be as fast as Thursday night or Friday. I don't think there's actually a lot of mechanical depth to it. But once we finish that, then we'll be moving into the Strixhaven PvP combat mechanics for 5e combat as a sport. And I haven't seen anyone do sports ball for 5e yet. So if it's out there, somebody let me know. But Mage Tower, I think, is just the absolute best, like, pardon the pun, the best arena to develop those mechanics and to make something that's really fun. And we have the depth of mechanical options now with this power system to be able to actually have a really mechanically tactical game of trying to throw a ball through a hole. Fun stuff. So what are we looking at? We're looking at Silver Quill. What's some cool shit that Silver Quill can do? Instant skill isn't necessarily very on point. Cliff Runner, Blind Sense, Aquatic Anatomy, Adaptive Resistance could be okay. Omnilinguist. While sustaining this power, you can communicate with and be understood by any creature with a spoken language, and you can read any non-magical text. Omnilinguist, obvious. And I know that there's a first rank exploit that I want to give them. Which is Quick Impression. You can use a bonus action to take the influence or search action. Yeah, okay, and now second rank. What's some cool second rank shit we can do? Vanish might not be horrible, because we were talking about they're talking about in the description of Silver Quill. The metaphorical power of word to illuminate or conceal is joined by the literal ability of magic to do the same. So being able to conceal as magic is built into what Silver Quill is all about. So that gives us reason to pick up Vanish. When you take the hide action, you can do so even if you don't have any cover to hide, using the 2024 mechanics, the way that they changed hide. When you take the hide action, you can do so even if you don't have any cover to hide behind, and the minimum result of your hide check is 15, even if your roll is lower. You can remain, because now with the D&D rules, you have to roll at least a 15 on your stealth check when you're stealth. Minimum result of your stealth check is 15. If you don't roll at least a 15 on your stealth check, you aren't hidden. You have failed to hide. So we guarantee with Vanish a minimum of 15, and whatever your result is becomes the DC for somebody searching for you. So you can remain hidden this way even if you aren't behind an object that can conceal you until the beginning of your next turn, at which point you can then trigger this effect again by taking the hide action to further sustain being hidden. They would have to specifically hold an action to search for you when your vanish blips. Like they see you flicker, kind of like Predator in the jungle. Occasionally you see a little flicker in the shrubbery that doesn't look right. Like that didn't move the right way. I know there's something there, but I can't see it now. So you keep an eye out for it. You're holding your action to use a reaction to search for when the vanish drops. You can see an instant. I saw you, fucker. There's something, and then you pull out your chain gun and you dump 5,000 rounds of ammo into the forest and hit absolutely nothing. Way to go, Jesse. Way to go, Jesse. But that's the idea. That's the idea. Big Predator fan here. Prey, I think, was an excellent movie. I think the first Predator movie was the best. I honestly think Prey was the second best, and then Predator 2, I think, was the third. And then anything after that, I question whether it should exist or not. But yeah, Prey was actually a really well-built film. I love that movie. What else? What's another good Silver Quill feeling thing? Distract. That's a good one. Oh, that's first rank. Barf. Where are we at? We're at second rank right now. Cursed Brand. You curse a creature you can see to make saving throws against you with disadvantage. The effect ends early when the creature succeeds a saving throw against you. I like that. Cursed Brand. Let's do it. These curses that we have in here, we stole those from the Blood Hunter the Blood Hunter class that Mercer published. I'm not much of a cutter. I don't like the idea of hurting yourself to power things, so we converted all of it into mana abilities. So you can have Ranger Blood Hunters, Paladin Blood Hunters, Rogue Blood Hunters, Barbarian Blood Hunters, Warlock Blood Hunters. And because they're cursed, the Hexblade that they just published in UA, they didn't specify what is a curse and isn't a curse. So the wording for that is if the description's title or in the description it says you're cursed, the Hexblade curses apply. So, and there's a bunch of curses in the power system. So if you are gishing your Warlock by borrowing powers and spells, you can take Hexblade and then grab all the curse powers and use those to power your Hex. So fun. Just fun synergy. All sorts of cool synergies you can do. What's another cool Silver Quill thing to do? Let's see. We're still working on another second rank power. Empower ally as a reaction to an ally fails a die roll. No, we already used that one. I'm going to skip that one. So a saving grace. If you fail a d20 test, re-roll it, including any number of power dice. Keep the new result. That's not horrible, but I'm not convinced. Second rank. Is there any cool second rank strike power we can throw in? Binding, Axiom, Silver Quill. No, but goading strikes and provoking strike for third rank makes a ton of sense for Silver Quill, though. So we're going to come back and visit that. Let's see what's going on at second rank and their sustained powers. Surely we will find a sustained power at second rank that's going to make sense. Oh, Castigate. No, that's not the right word. Deadly Presence. While the power is sustained and you are not restrained, stunned, or paralyzed, any creature you can see. No, that's not really power of word or voice. I'm trying to think of influencing stuff. That's not quite jiving. Let's go back to our list of powers. Empower allies. Oh, hold on. We can go with saving grace if we have to. Let's look again at our second rank powers here. Not a lot of maneuvers that are serving us there. Strain hold, precise attack, empowered synergy, abundant step. Okay, saving grace it is. We'll just take it for lack of better narrative. We'll go with that. It's not perfect, but it's not horrible. Okay, third rank. We already know. Provoking Strike. There's that cold kicking in a little bit. All right, let's look at what Provoking Strike does. Again, more control powers. It's 9th level, sure, but it's true tanking. Provoking Strike. Your weapon can deal psychic damage and increases damage by 1 power die per mana, and at 9th level it's a D8, so it's a 3rd rank power, so it's going to deal an extra 3d8 damage, kind of like a smite spell. The creature must use its attacks to attack you or target you with spells and effects until it can no longer see you or you are incapacitated. The creature can end the effect by succeeding an intelligence saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Creatures immune to charm save with advantage. So, lock you in. You're going to have to attack me. And then if I'm on a horse, like if I'm playing a Beastmaster Rogue Ranger and I'm on a horse, and I hit you with a Provoking Strike arrow and I piss you off, now I'm going to run away from you and you're going to have to attack me. As long as I can stay within sight and I can run around the battlefield away from you, I can make you just chase me and try to target me with attacks, keeping the rest of the team free to ding at you as you're chasing after me, going through opportunity attacks. Fun use. Fun use. Depending on how smart they are. You know, the DM's going to play them. You know, a dumb ogre is going to chase after you and get attacked. Okay, so that's Provoking Strike. That's fun. 3rd rank. Is there a 3rd rank something in the Daunting Presence? While sustaining this power, attacks targeting you by creatures that you can see roll with disadvantage. And when you are the only target of an effect that requires you to make a saving throw, you roll with advantage. That's a pretty good one. If we have to, we can just take Daunting Presence. That one's pretty good. Let's see if there's something else that seems savory. Because I beeline to Provoking Strike. I knew that was something we wanted. Yeah, none of the reactions are jumping out at me. So let's look at Swift Shot, Flicker Pounce, Curse and Enfeeblement. No, none of those are jumping out at me. And no, that's perfect. Daunting Presence. It's actually not a bad design template to use. Like, is there, like, at 4th rank, do I have 5 powers, one of which would be appropriate for each of these schools? Like, that might be a design principle that I want to use. Hey, what's going on, Steve? So much goodness. Hey, thanks, man. Oh, dude, thanks a lot for hanging out, my guy. I really appreciate you being around, Steve. Steve, man, really appreciate you being around. Have a great night, my guy. Let's see. Okay, 4th rank powers, 13. Silver Quill. We need 3 of them. So, let's see. Assassinating damage doesn't feel right. Unstoppable, we've already used it twice. I don't want to use it again. And plus, it doesn't really feel like Silver Quill very much. What do we got? Stupefy. You can target a creature that you can see to make an intelligence saving throw. If it fails, it's paralyzed until it can succeed a saving throw to end the effect. All these powers last a minute, or it ends early if they can succeed a save if it allows it, unless it says otherwise. Like, some of them only last 1 round. But for the most part, if it has an effect that clicks on and then it ends when you save against it, it's going to be after 10 rounds it automatically ends. Creatures immune to charm, roll with advantage. And, well, there's Wave of Terror. That's not so... I mean, Fear is a black effect, and Silver Quill's got that intimidation vibe going. So I can see Wave of Terror working. Stupefy for sure, though. Let's toss that in. Stupefy. And let's just pick up Wave of Terror since we're here, and we have to correct it, we will. That means we have 1 Wave of Terror isn't iffy, so we can get rid of it if we need to, but it's there if we have it. So, cheers. 4th. Rider Revival is great for Witherbloom. I'm going to leave that for them. 4th rank. Nah, neither one of those feel like Silver Quill. So let's go to 4th rank sustained. There's only a couple of them, so here's hoping. No. Windstrider, Mind Sense, Ghost Walker. No. Frenzied Attack, Indestructible, or Master of Fate. Indestructible doesn't really feel like Silver Quill. Master of Fate is very Quandrix, but it doesn't feel like Silver Quill. All right, let's skim through these again one more time to see if there's something I missed. We're reaching now, so there just aren't a lot of there just aren't a lot of 4th rank powers. God, we could take Hexproof and just be wusses. We'll always take Hexproof. It's always there. We have a Terror, Stupefy. We picked those up already. Unstoppable was very Prismari, but isn't very Silver Quill. When you deal damage with a weapon, you have to attack, act in combat. Okay, we'll take it. No, I don't want it. I don't want to do that. Hey, timely timer. Damn it. Hexproof. Hexproof. Hexproof once. Hexproof twice. We've already got Hexproof once and twice. Not happy, Bob. Right, revival. Damage increases by 1 power die of mana. The creature becomes unconscious, and the creature makes a Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect early. If the target is damaged by another creature, it also awakens, and the condition ends early. Silver Quill with a knockout strike. That doesn't feel very intuitive. One more time. Indestructible. Indestructible sounds more on point than assassinating damage. I could cheat and dip down to a lower rank, but I'd rather not if I don't have to. Fuck it. All right, hexproof it is. Lame, lame. We'll take it. Witherbloom, what up? Last of the last, y'all. All right, Witherbloom. Breath of Life. When you make an ability check to stabilize a dying creature, you automatically succeed, and the target gains a number of hit points equal to the result of 1 power die rolled per mana expended. Minimum of 1. First level is D6. At 17th level, it can be up to 5 10-sided dice. If you're a monk, at 17th level, it's 5 12-sided dice. Breath of Life. Talk about yo-yo. So, Breath of Life was super obvious. That was easy. Witherbloom. We're looking at Witherbloom. What's some Witherbloomy stuff to do? Bloomy Wither. Witherbloom. More healing at the low end. Rally. You and one ally you can see gain a number of temporary hit points equal to the total of 1 power die rolled for each point of mana expended this way. Temporary hit points for everybody. Rally is a go-to. We could certainly do that. Is there something else that feels more Witherbloomy right now? Rally's still winning right now. Caustic Strike. Your weapon can deal acid or necrotic damage. Increases damage by 1 power die per mana channeled. At the beginning of your target's next turn, it must make a Constitution saving throw. Success is no extra damage. If they fail, they take power dice damage again. So if I'm 17th level, I deal 5d10 damage, and if they fail their Constitution saving throw, they'll take 5d10 damage again. It's really effective once you get like level 9 plus. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Caustic Strike. That's a good one. Witherbloom for the fucking win, y'all. 5th level, Vampiric Touch. Vampiric Touch. Obviously, we're going to go with everybody's favorite, Life-Stealing. Life-Stealing Strike. Your weapon can deal necrotic or radiant damage and increases damage by 1 power die per mana channeled. In addition, you gain a number of everyone's favorite temporary hit points equal to the result of the power dice rolled. Any temporary hit points that remain when you start a short or long rest are lost. Life-Stealing Strike. Before everything in WotC's design trough gave temporary hit points, we were struggling to find out how could we give you more temporary hit points. We didn't realize that 5e24 was all about teleporting and temporary hit points. The 2 T's of 24. I digress. I only make fun of them because I love the game so much, and I don't necessarily think that Wizards is the best steward of it. But I love the 5e game engine, so I mean, go team. You guys built a banger of a game engine. I fucking love it. So I will forever love you guys for that. We're looking at Witherbloom. So, Deadly Presence. While this power is sustained and you are not restrained, stunned, or paralyzed, any creature that begins its turn or moves within reach of you takes power die of damage. Maybe. Second rank. Let's see. Poisoning Strike's not bad. Your weapon can deal poison damage. Poison is a green and black type of damage in the mana system. Your weapon can deal poison damage and increases damage by 1 power die. In addition, the creature is poisoned. It can attempt to end the effect by succeeding the Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns. So, Poisoning Strike is a strong contender. Go Witherbloom. Wow, hostile. But is there... Oh, Curse of the Fallen Puppet. Winner. This is from the Blood Hunter. As a reaction to when a creature you can see drops to 0 hit points, you can command the creature to move up to half its speed and make a melee attack against a creature that you can see. The effect ends immediately after the creature attacks. 3rd rank, Witherbloom for the win. I'm digging Witherbloom as a martial character a lot. Like a Barbarian Witherbloom would be really fucking cool. 3rd rank. Let's find some stuff. Curse of Enfeeblement. You curse a creature that you can see to deal half damage with its weapon attack, and until its target succeeds a strength saving throw at the end of each of its turns. Curse. Massive Sedge Witch vibes going on here. I love it. Super into it. Once we get this built all out, I'll be able to start building subclasses and character progressions built around specific cards, like a Sedge Witch specifically, like modifying Hexblade, blending it with these powers to be able to build a more Sedge Witchy sort of like utilizing your pest. It's like sacrifice your pest to bloody blood, stuff like that. Like curse your pest. When you curse your pest with your Hexblade, you gain these additional abilities. For instance, like the lean into the Bag of Rats idea. Like to really just own it. That's such an MTG idea. It's a shame that when they were presenting it on the video for the UA, that they're like, don't do Bag of Rats. You're a bad boy if you do. It's like, no, it's just, that's complete pest sacrifice. That is so Strixhaven. That is amazingly pest friendly. You want to lean into that shit. You want to abuse your pest. The pest is there for you to bully specifically so you can gain bonuses and shit. Like, that they didn't think of that really tells you how little the D&D team communicates with the MTG team. They just don't, they don't work together at all. And that infuriates me because I love both of those IPs so fucking much. Like, this is the cool stuff that we can do with it. But I mean, I'm not the 800 pound in the gorilla. They have to build something solid and very milk white toast bread, very, very bland, very basic, because it's the foundation that everyone else riffs and builds off of. They have to have a very basic core so that all of us wild people in orbit around them can do all the crazy crap. It's kind of a curse of their own, but I understand the logic behind it, and so I chide them a lot for it. Just because I can see a bigger, better future that we could have had, that they just aren't. They just aren't, as a mega corporation, they aren't in a position to be able to take that stance, and it's a shame. But that also means that I'm free to be a couture designer and to create exotic materials like this as much as I want. So, I mean, everything has its pros and cons. As long as we understand where everyone's coming from, there's no real hate there. It's just, man, just to be an indie studio, to be able to create 5e as an indie studio, it's fun. All right, Curse of Exposure. As a reaction to when you see a creature within range taking damage, if it has resistance, it loses this property. Alternatively, if the creature is immune to the damage, it instead takes half damage. This effect ends immediately after the creature takes damage. This is the solution. Like, people are like, how do you do the wording for, like, if you're immune, you become resistant, and if you're resistant, you take full damage. If I'm immune, I then become resistant, and then because of that same ability, if I am resistant, I am now taking full damage, which translates as a collateral cascade. If I am resistant or immune, I take full damage, and that is not the intent. So you have to word it differently. Resistance means take half damage. So if you have resistance, you take normal damage. If you are immune, you aren't resistant. Instead, you take half damage. That is a very specific wording so that you aren't messing around with the trigger effect of, am I resistant now or am I not? No, you're immune, but you're going to take half damage anyway. You're resistant, you're going to take full damage. It's lawyerese. It's coding. It's very specific coding because all the words in the 5e game engine have specific meanings, and you have to understand what those meanings do to the game engine to be able to code this shit correctly. So it's important. It's important, but it also speaks to, well, hopefully it's a denotation that I know what the fuck I'm doing, so that when I design these abilities, you can have some faith that I'm making them designed to either work with each other intentionally or to not work with each other intentionally, and I spell out when they're not supposed to work with each other, like the rogue sneak attack and smite ability. You can't have a rogue doing 10d6 damage and 5d10 damage of smite on top of it every round. It's too much power. The paladin can't keep up with that, and the paladin should be doing more damage. That's why the rogue can do sneak attack or get free mana to do a strike power instead. Ninth level rogue, 5d6 sneak attack, or 3d8 smite damage plus whatever your kicker effect is. So, like, it's important. It's important. That's how you build a balanced system that people can trust and actually use at the table and know that it's going to operate within the parameters. This isn't outclocking what a full caster can do. It's giving you about the same level of power as a full caster from a completely different angle. But it's still within the same bounds. Like, you're not outclocking your bard. You're not outclocking the sorcerer. You're not out healing the cleric. Everyone still has their niches that they excel in, and now the paladin excels in smiting, for instance. So, fun stuff. Where we at? We're still at third rank. Curse of the Fallen Puppet, Curse of Enfeeblement. Oh, fun. Curse of Exposure, that's right. We were just talking about that. And that is a maneuver. That's right. Oh, no, reaction. That's right. Curse of Enfeeblement was a maneuver. But before we let it go, let's go check for any low-hanging fruit that we may have missed that's up in the third rank exploits. Nah, there's nothing here. Fuck 'em. All right, on to 4. This is where it gets ugly because we don't have a lot of 4th rank powers. Actually, of all of them, I think Witherbloom deserves assassinating damage more than anyone else. Ha ha! And Rider Revival for sure. Just to look at that with you guys. Assassinating damage. When you deal damage with a weapon attack to a target that has yet to act in combat or is unaware of your attack, you can re-roll any number of damage dice, keeping the higher result. This includes any additional damage dice, such as those gained from a critical hit, sneak attack, or channeling a strike power. There you go. Super useful. And then Rider Revival. We know we're taking that for a fact. That's the lowest hanging fruit we've had yet. Rider Revival is... as a reaction to when you drop to 0 hit points but don't die outright, you remain conscious and roll a number of power dice equal to the mana channeled, gaining a number of hit points to the total rolled, up to your maximum hit point total. Rider Revival. At 17th level, it'd be 5d10. Rite of Revival. And last one. I mean, we could go with Knockout Strike. Your damage increases by 1 power die per mana burned. The creature becomes unconscious, and the creature makes a Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect early if successful. If the target takes damage or another creature uses an action to awaken the target, the condition ends early. You've just knocked them out. Which means the next attack that hits them is at advantage and crits. So you could dump, if you dump a strike on top of that crit, you're going to double your damage dice. Like, that's the perfect time for a sneak attack. Good kill. You hit the, so your rogue, you just make a bonus action attack. You can't use strikes with like, say, Nick. So you'd have to use a bonus action to make the attack. You can't get the Nick action is like a cantrip compared to a strike power. You can't do a cantrip and a spell in the same magic action. Similarly, you can't use a weapon mastery and a strike power at the same time. It's the same action slot that you're using. It's just the weapon masters, like cantrips, they don't cost any mana, but they do trigger condition effects. Again, this is us learning that stacking these things up is broken. Using cleave with cleave gives you an extra attack, right? Hit the next guy, don't gain your proficiency bonus. If you allow them to get that extra attack in with cleave and use a strike power on top of it, they're going to be doing an extra 10 points of damage per round more than they should. It's too much. So you want to curve that. Curbing cleave as well as nick properties. Like, those don't stack. So we have a power that allows Martial Strike that lets you do extra damage on top of using weapon mastery, but the Martial Strike does nothing other than just deal extra damage. So it leaves that condition space open for you to use a weapon mastery while also ramping dice into damage. And like the Ranger and the Paladin get those for free. The Ranger, Paladin, and the Rogue, all three of them get Martial Strike for free so that they can utilize a strike, because like the Smite power requires you having a strike, having strike available. So we give you Martial Strike, so you deal D8s instead of D6s at first level. So you're literally doing the exact same damage as a second level Paladin could do when they have Divine Smite available. Although you could have it at first level if you wanted to. You get it for free at second. But at first, second, third, fourth level, it's exactly the same damage using this martial power system as the D&D does when you're using a Smite spell. But the difference is the bonus spell of the bonus action gives you extra mana to stack on top of your strike powers, and only the Paladin can do that. So at first level, you get 1 point from bonus action. At 9th level, you get 2 points. And at 17th level, you get 3 points that you can dump in on top of the 1, 3, or 5 points of mana that you can spend from your mana pool. So a Paladin at 17th level has 5th rank. You can spend 5 mana. If you're using Martial Strike, it uses a D12. So now you're rolling 5d12. And then if you burn your bonus action on top of it to ramp your Smite, you're now doing 8d12, and then because you use Divine Strike, radiant damage, which is going to have a cap of 80 damage. Compare that to the Sorcerer that deals a 9th level spell slot plus the bonus D8 that you get from the Divine Smite spell itself. So they have 10d8. They're doing up to 80 points of damage. The Paladin would either be doing 8d10 on a normal strike, which is equal to that, or if you're using d12s, it would ramp all the way up to 96. So the Paladin, in any circumstance, using the system is the master, is the king of smiting. If you go all in, anyone can dump 5 mana on top of an attack to deal 5 dice worth of damage. And if anyone has Martial Strike, it could be 5d12. So anyone can have that up to up to 60 damage, which, by the way, is exactly the same amount of damage that a 19th level rogue can do with sneak attack. So at that 19th level, if a rogue is using sneak attack dice 10d6, or you could dump those 10d6 and instead gain 5 points of free mana to spend on a strike power, your rogue at 19th level is going to be doing up to 60 damage on a sneak attack, but you also get the kicker effect of whatever strike power that you've prepared as a rogue. So it makes the rogue really fucking cool to use because they're always striking for ridiculous amounts of damage. The Paladin can deal that type of damage consistently as well, but when you decide to really burn down your mana pool, you can overclock what the rogue can do. So anyway, this mechanical design. There you go, mechanical design. Oh, that's right. I'm obviously procrastinating. Let me find. We were talking about knockout. We were talking about knockout strike. That was a potential. Maybe we'll take knockout strike. What time is it? It's 8:50. Hey, we're on time. This is literally the last power we have to pick out, and we're done. Silver Quill. Oh no, it's Witherbloom. That's right. Witherbloom. Do we want? We could do knockout. Let's just do knockout strike. Why not? Fuck it. There. We talked about it long enough. Let's just give it to him. Obviously, I want him to have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have spent that much time on it. Cool. Hey, guys, we did it. This is officially in the playtest document. Again, this document is available for you guys to check out. Here is the playtest document that we're using right now. It's going to be read-only for you. I'm sorry about that. You can't just cut and paste it onto your own place. But like all the other books that I do, like here's my Magic the Gathering bundle that I have on the DMsGuild. I have no idea why it wants to verify that I'm human. I assure you I'm human. Thank you. 7 books in the series, and they all have free previews. Like here's the Point Warlock that we built. These are all 2014. We're going to be updating all these books for 2024. We're going to be doing new artwork for all these things, but if you click on the full preview, the entire book is available. So we get to revise this because Wizards got rid of the DMG section for spell points. Chapter 1 is doing spell points the way that Wizards, that WotC published it in the DMG, which I think is the dumb way to do it. Here's your scale of mana, of spell points that you have, and then here's how much short rest spell points you get with your Pact Magic. And then the long rest, once you get Mystic Arcanum, you get long rest mana that can be spent only on that. You can cast 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th level spells with Mystic Arcanum points. But if you don't want to cast these high level spells, you could instead burn this mana to cast your 1st through 5th level spells. But the short rest mana cannot be spent on 6th level plus spells. In fact, the way this is set up, no class that has short rest mana can spend it on 6th level plus spells. The Paladin, the Ranger, the Artificer, they get short rest mana using this system. Their max spell level, 5th. Using the martial power system, the Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Rogue, all of them, max rank, 5th. So the Warlock also has short rest that can only be used on spells up to 5th level. Although you gain them faster than the half-caster and martials do. On your spell casting from level 1 to 5 at Warlock level 1 to 9, you still can't use that short rest mana to cast 6th level spells. Full casters, Cleric, Druid, Bard, Wizard, Sorcerer, Scion, all of them, long rest mana only. Can cast up to 9th level, or can cast 6+ level spells. The Warlock has both short rest mana from level 1 to 5, And then you have the long rest mana for the Arcanum points. The Arcanum points can be spent on 6th level plus spells, or you can spend those points on your level 1 to 5 spells. So once you get to 11th level as a Warlock, you only have what pact mana. Well, this is the stupid system. Chapter 1 is the stupid system. Chapter 2 is my spell point, universal spell point, and high magic, my mana system. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. First level spell costs 1 point. 9th level spell costs 9 points. 5th level spell costs 5 points. A Warlock gains mana the same as a monk, so 1 to 20 from level 1 to 20. 5th level spells cost 5 points each, so you can't cast 4 5th level spells using pack mana until you get to 20th level. However, like at 9th level, I could cast 9 first level spells, or 3 third level spells, or 4 second level spells, and a first level spell. And once I get to 11th level, I get access to my first 6th level spell. I get 6 mana. By 13th level, I get access to my second 7th level spell. I can spend 13, which is 6 plus 7. We give you up to in this system, we make Wish a 10th level spell, the only 10th level spell. But at 19th level, full casters get a 10th level spell slot that you could either use to cast Wish, or you can upcast a lower level spell up to 10th level if you want to. So using this system, at 20th level, you get 40 mana, which is 10 plus 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 6. That's 40 mana plus this 20 mana, a short rest, plus the 40 mana long rest. If I didn't want to cast any high magic, I'd have 60 mana and then another 20 mana on the next short rest. If you're taking only 1 short rest per day, using a normal day D&D 2014 style, then you would have 80 mana, which is the same as a full caster, huh? How about that? Full casters have 80 mana, and the Warlock has 60 mana plus a short rest gives you another 60. With the new 2024 rules, I now highly recommend gritty realism. And the number, so whenever you take a long rest, whenever you sleep at night, at the end of the day, when you sleep, you get a short rest. And the number of short rests that you need to take before you can get a long rest at the end of a night is based on your proficiency bonus. So at first level, 2 short rests, and then on the third night, long rest. By 17th level, it's 6 short rests and then a long rest. So far, that's working out. By the amount of mana that the full casters stack up compared to the half casters and the martial characters, that seems to be pacing pretty well so far. So I ran 2 campaigns from level 1 to 20 where you got all your mana back every night on a long rest, and I was still able to burn down my team's mana pool because of the way that we abuse concentration, tactical disadvantages of being dinged all the time, taking away their concentration. There's a lot of ways to wear down a mana pool using this system, and all these books are 100% free preview. So again, this is gold medal, by the way. God bless you guys. Sold over 500 copies of this book. That's awesome. The core mechanics book goes into all the details about concentration and duration modifications and how the stuff works. You can see here it's taking a while to load because the entire book is available for you guys to read cover to cover. I would so much rather you guys just see this stuff and see if you think it's fun to play with than to paywall it and have you question whether it's worth your time or not. No, fuck it. Just read it. If you think it's cool, I keep building books. If you want to support me, you'll buy something. Thank you. But the entire book is here. The way that we originally built it was each spell was devoted to only one color. That was our original thought process behind that. But that's not good. So we changed it. We haven't integrated it yet into the book because we're going to rebuild all the books for 2024 rules anyway. So instead we created the revised 5-color mana spell list. This is also 100% free preview. It's also pay what you want, so you can just pick it up no matter what. But this breaks down how the tenet, how each aspect of magic works: white, blue, black, red, green. Some of the general guiding principles that kind of define it loosely, like what you can expect from that color of magic, as well as the types of damage. This is consistent with Magic the Gathering cards, like lightning, for instance. There's like 300 lightning cards, and like 2 of them are blue. Every other thing that mentions lightning is red. Virtually everything involving fire is red. There's a couple of white spells, I think, here and there. A lot of white stuff is cold. So like acid is almost always black and green. Poison, you should know. If you're a Magic the Gathering enthusiast, black and green, that's completely poison. Psychic damage of being white, blue, and black, that makes a lot of sense. Radiant damage being white, that's obvious, right? Fire being red, that's obvious. Necrotic damage being black, that's obvious. All of this stuff is really obvious stuff. The cards reflect it, the spells reflect it. So take these basic ideas of what each color kind of represents mechanically in the game, plus what kind of damage they deal, you get your color mana list. So like, obviously, let's go down to 3rd level. Fireball is my favorite example. Fireball, red spell, 3rd level spell. It's a red spell. If you're just using color magic and generic spell points, you spend 3 points of mana. I am a red wizard, I throw Fireball. There you go. If I am not a red wizard, I need to either research Fireball, so it's like a white spell. Like if I'm a white wizard, like if I'm Selesnya, white and green, I normally don't have access to red spells. But if I find a scroll someplace, I could learn it to be white because I found a scroll with white spells on it. Or if I spend time at my guild or in my Strixhaven college, I can pick a spell and I don't have to spend any money. It's just time served, I get the spell. That gives me an excuse to build in downtime into the campaign. As a player, I want that downtime because like maybe it'll take like 1 week for a 1st level spell, maybe it'll take 5 weeks for a 5th level spell, depending on how your DM paces it, and we'll provide you with ideas about that. But there's multiple colors that a spell can be devoted to. Fear is an emotion built around suppression and terror. So that's a black and a red effect. So you could cast Fear as a 3rd level spell with either black or red, 1 point of black, 1 point of red, and you could cast Fear. The other 2 points could be any color that you want. So if you're just using just generic spell points, it's if I was playing a Rakdos character, black and red, Fear is totally on my list. If I was playing Golgari, black and green, Fear is on my spell list because I have black. And if I am Azorius and I want Fear on my list, I would just have to find a way. I could either research the spell, find the spell, and put it in my book or into my lexicon if I'm a divine or a primal caster, and or if I'm on the fly, when I finish my long rest, I could sacrifice a spell slot, lose a spell, and then learn Fear twice. So I learn it once as black-red, and then I learn it another time, say, as white. So now my Azorius character can cast Fear as a white spell because I learned it twice. I've intentionally nerfed my mana pool so that I can modify a spell. So using this system, all casters, no matter what, all of them can swap at least one spell whenever they finish a rest. Obviously, a wizard can change all their spells, a druid can change all their spells, a cleric can change all their spells, but like bard, sorcerer, scion, paladin, paladin, ranger, artificer, they can change one spell when they finish a long rest. So I could eventually bend spells into the mana pool that I want by spending time properly preparing them and then reducing the total number of spells I can have prepared. But with this system, everyone gets 10 bonus spells and everyone gets 23 prepared spells. So you end up with 33 spells. All of your bonus spells can automatically be any color that you want. So your bonus spells you can always cast. There's no bending needed. They are automatically whatever color you want. That's a perk of gaining bonus spells. They're always available to you regardless of what color identity you have. You took the subclass, you can use them in the colors that you prefer. The 23 prepared spells, you can then have 23 spells of whatever color they are, or you can sculpt them all to be specifically what color you want, and you'd have 12 of them. So you'd have at least 22 spells between your bonus spells and your sculpted spells, or if you spend time finding spells in libraries or researching spells at your guild or college, or with the piety system, praying to your god to grant that spell to you in the color that you want off of their lexicon. Then you can have, potentially in time, all 33 prepared spells in the color, like the one color that you want. I want all my spells white, so that my mana pool is unified as a single color. I am now White Wizard Supreme. Or if you like the flavor of, I'm going to use like illusion spells as blue, and then I'm going to make like all my combat spells red. For instance, if I'm playing an Azet character, I could break up my mana pool that way because that's how I want to narrate it. But that's completely optional to you. You either decide as a team during session 0, or you as a player just decide how much restriction you're going to place on yourself, how you represent your character. In the game that I'm running my Orzhov Sorcerer, it's not Orzhov, I'm currently playing a Selesnya Sorcerer in Curse of Strahd, a Worshipper of Saloon, white and green magic. My Sorcerer, almost all the spells that I want are either white or green. Like Web is a green spell, Guiding Bolt is a white spell, Bless is a white spell, Cure Wounds is both white and green. So like all these spells complete like a Divine Sorcerer of Selûne, complete match to Selesnya magic. It makes so much sense, and he plays so well because at 6th level I have 26 mana to spend on meta magic and my spells as a sorcerer. And I can split it like I typically go 26 mana. I typically go 16-10, 16 mana into white, so I have shitloads of Guiding Bolts that I can kick out, blesses, and then 10 for the 2nd level web spells that I like to throw to lock things down, and then all of them can be used for cure wounds, and then all of them can be used for meta magic. So my pool, even though I have it broken into 2 separate colors, I'm doing that just for the narrative of it because I have a deep enough mana pool to afford to do that. I decided to sculpt my character that way. But if I wanted to, I could reduce the number of spells that I have available to me so that all of them could like be white if I wanted, for instance. So, but the agreement was I'm going to play this character, but I'm going to devote my mana to a color, and then I'm going to sculpt my mana pool around the spells I want to cast. And that's what led me into Selesnya, because that's the kind of character I wanted to play. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to go ahead. It's 9:09. It's time for me to check out. That's it for tonight. I'm going to be back tomorrow at lunch now that we've finished Strixhaven, we can start working on Theros. So we're going to have an hour tomorrow in the afternoon. If you want to get notifications when that is up and running, like and subscribe, or follow me on my social media channels down below. If you think these books are cool, I definitely encourage you picking up Revised 5-Color Magic Spell List. It's pay what you want for free. That's a silver bestseller. God bless you guys for buying these things, even though they're free. Really, thank you. It's a good 35% off if you buy all the books. Almost all of my stuff has a 4 or 5 star rating. Very few of my books, very, very little of my books have less than a 5-star rating, because this is the level of detail and attention that I pay to everything that I do. And of course, I do all my own artwork. We do artwork in the morning, so if you want to see me do like Bob Ross paintings of fantasy settings or like make magic items and shit like that, Monday through Friday in the morning I do artwork. I do game design Monday and Thursday night, Tuesday, Friday lunch. I'm always changing up what's happening. So right now we're working on Color Mana stuff, and in the morning we're doing Eberron art. That's going to change in a couple months. We'll be doing the Bastion campaign book for artwork in the morning, and we'll probably be building out we'll probably actually like be doing page layouts for the 5e24 version of all these books, like the Spellpoint Sorcerer, Spellpoint Scion when that publishes, Spellpoint Artificer as a separate book, all these tear out ideas. And then once we get all those books assembled and published so that all the core mechanics of all of this system is available for you guys on DMsGuild to look at for free if you want, then we'll start taking specifics, creatures, classes, subclasses, items. We'll be taking all of these mechanics and applying them to cards. So we can do a vote on my Patreon. What card do we want to look at this month? And then we can convert that, and that'll be our card conversion for the week or the month, or how long it takes to do it. But we'll begin posting polls on what do you want me to mess around with. Like, do you want me to do a Boros Swiftblade as a character build? Or do you want me to instead do like an Azorius an Azorius Lawkeeper, or like a precog? I could do a precognition subclass out of Azorius, or I could do like a Rakdos Rioter, which is more interesting to you. We can put a post up like that and find out what people want to do, and then we'll add that to the mix. So that's where we're going with this stuff. Again, thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me. I love doing this stuff. I hope it's interesting to you. I love 5e. I love MTG. Wizards isn't going to do it, so it's up to us. So this is my contribution to the love. and thanks for being here. So that's it for now, guys. I'm out of here. I'll see everybody in the future. Cheers.